tradition.
Here he goes. See you later. And he's got it. Touchdown! Touchdown!
ABC Sports Championship Television.
Behind these doors, a talented but young Indiana team anticipates what this day could mean for their season and the future of their program. Hoosier head coach Jerry DiNardo quietly circulates to offer words of support and encouragement on a very personal level. It is all business in here. They know they are just moments away from a critical collision with defending Big Ten champion Michigan. This day could be very, very important to the IU Hoosiers here in Bloomington. Well, the fans are fired up here in Bloomington as we welcome you to Memorial Stadium for this Big Ten Conference matchup featuring the 18th-ranked Wolverines of Michigan and the Hoosiers of Indiana. Hello, everyone. Glad to have you with us, along with expert analyst Gary Danielson. I'm Jerry Punt, subbing for Brent Musburger, who is away on assignment. And, Garrett, it's good to be with you.
Big shoes. You ready?
I will do my best. They are big shoes, exactly. You know, the preseason media picked Michigan to repeat as Big Ten Conference champion, and I don't believe Lloyd Carr ever expected to have to do it with two true freshmen in the backfield.
You're right, Jerry. I mean, there's always a bottleneck on a football team, and it's tough when it's at quarterback and tailback. For Michigan, Chad Henne, the true freshman quarterback, has to run this offense. He wasn't expected to play so early, and usually you can rely on a lot of guys around you, but he can't rely on a tailback. Chris Perry also left, but Michael Hart, a true freshman, has emerged. This Michigan offense can only move as fast as those two young players.
And for Hoosier quarterback Matt LaVecchia, it would seem the key word today has got to be balance.
Well, you know, he was recruited to Notre Dame to run option football and throw the ball, and I think he's going to have to rely on those skills because Indiana can't match up just coming right at Michigan's defense. LaVecchia will have to do it with his arm and his feet.
And what a difference a year makes for Michigan's Braylon Edwards. For more, here's Jack Arute.
Yeah, last year at this very game, Braylon Edwards had to sit out the first half of the game because he missed a team meeting. But Braylon says that was the turning point in his career. He dedicated himself both in the classroom and also out on the field to become a team leader. Now he leads both on and off the field.
Well, the Big Blue fans are here in force as well. They've come from Ann Arbor to watch the Maize and Blue take on Indiana. But before we kick it off, let's check back in New York with John Saunders.
Along with Craig James and Aaron Taylor in this matchup right now. The Michigan Wolverines, despite the loss to Notre Dame, feel they have a shot to still win the national championship, and they're deep enough to do it.
Yeah, guys, one of the things that really stands out about this Michigan team is their depth, starting with Chad Henne coming out, the gate for Matt Gutierrez. Then you have Michael Hart filling in for Underwood. Another guy. Last week, Grant Mason out. Marcus Curry's out. Grant Mason coming up that big interception against Iowa. Michigan is a very, very deep ball club.
You say a lot of names that nobody knows about, and that's what Michigan is all about this year. But I tell you what they need to do is get ready on the defensive line in this football game because next week they've got a big game against Minnesota who can run the football, and that's the challenge. Michigan, I don't know about your guy Braylon Edwards, he may carry them to the national championship, but they need to get ready to stop the run.
You mentioned next week, of course, it's the Red River Shootout. Oklahoma against Texas. We'll have it here. As a matter of fact, we'll be there, and this one will set up with two undefeated teams. Look at the Texas score, and Oklahoma is controlling Texas Tech. Also today, Notre Dame looking to go to 4-1, but they trailed Purdue 10-3.
Yeah, you can't give up a special teams touchdown. They give up a big kickoff return, especially when Purdue's offense is so potent.
Boy, those Irish running out of leaves.
When you got the Irish sitting next to you, and he's a big fella, you better be careful about that. We will update that score and more at halftime. But coming up, the Michigan Wolverines and the Indiana Hoosiers.
The Hartford Mutual Funds pregame, brought to you by the Hartford Mutual Funds, for people who are always thinking ahead. We'll be back with the kickoff after these messages.
Back here in Bloomington, let me give you a quick injury update from the Michigan side of the field. Steve Preston, their outstanding receiver and their punt and kickoff returner, has not made the trip. He's injured with a fractured thumb. Fellas?
Thank you, Jack. And that is a huge loss. He is number 2 in their reception category, and it's certainly a threat anytime they have a return. Michigan won the toss and deferred, so Indiana will take the football here. And, folks, it's important for you to know that that guy right there is fun to watch. Lance Bennett. Indiana leads the nation in kickoff return yardage, averaging 37.8 yards a game, and Bennett has lit it up, 98 yards in the kickoff return at Oregon. This one will sail deep in the end zone. Bennett will take a knee, and IU will come out on their own 20-yard line. At quarterback, fifth-year senior Matt LaVecchio is the field general for the Hoosiers. The former Notre Dame transfer already has 2 more touchdown passes than he had all last year. He has a strong arm and quick feet, and he used both when he was a true freshman at Notre Dame to lead him to 7 consecutive wins and a Fiesta Bowl berth. So the young man has all the tools, Gary, to get it done.
And I think he did best at Notre Dame is he didn't make a lot of mistakes. Now, you're going against the best turnover defense in college football. He can't make mistakes.
That's in the left or right.
Opening play here in Bloomington. LaVecchio gets some pressure, sidesteps, and will get almost back to the line of scrimmage. Take a look at the Hoosiers' backs and receivers. Balance is the key here, as you heard Gary tell you in the open. Tailback Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis ranks 5th in the Big Ten in rushing, and wide receiver Courtney Roby closing in on a couple of receiving records. And up front, there are a bunch of hurting Hoosiers. Only one offensive lineman will start in his normal position. That's Justin Fry, the right tackle. We had 3 offensive linemen, by the way, have surgery. They moved 2 to alternate positions. So a patchwork offensive line here for the Hoosiers. Second and long here, and they give it to Green Ellis, and he will lose about 1.5 yards. Take a look at the Wolverine defense up front. You just saw a moment ago, they're number 2 in the nation against the run. The Wolverine wall led by 335-pound chunk of granite Gabe Watson. Linebackers, all athletic Lamar Woodley runs like a deer and is almost unblockable. And in the secondary, Michigan leads the nation with 11 interceptions. 5 have come from among this group. Shazer and Mundy, 2 each.
And this is where it really happens for Michigan. You do not want to go against this nickel all day. And what's been happening for Michigan is these 3 guys up front have been putting pressure just with 3 rushers. That makes it very difficult. IU would like to get out of here with a punt.
Remember, LaVecchio's got some quick feet. He'll tuck it and run if he has to. On 3rd and long, has a receiver across the middle, 25, 27 yards for Jakeem Gilmore, the junior out of Brooklyn. He'll be about 1 yard shy of the first down.
And that's exactly, Michigan there was in their prevent zone defense, play everything in front of them. Both sides happy to get off the field right now.
Jackaroo told you that Breston has not made the trip, so
Leon Hall's looks like he's going to do it, and he's quite a talent, young player.
Leon indeed is. He is the right cornerback, and there's a look at Tyson Beatty, who is from Adelaide, Australia, averaging over 41 yards a punt, along with 57 earlier in the year. Beatty standing at his own 15, will tuck it and run, has some running room, 35, 40, across midfield into Michigan territory, and Jerry DiNardo pulling out the stops early.
Well, we watched practice, and they had about 3 different fakes in. We've seen one, and this time this was just a read by the kicker. If it's there, he takes it. You can see it's there. He had the option of punting this ball. No one knows he's going to run it. They all looking back and say, hey, where's the ball? The kicker still has it, and that's one of those option plays, run very effectively. I think for IU to win this football game, they're going to have to make cheap plays like that outside the offense.
And Lloyd Carr didn't like that. He's obviously his defense, his punt return team caught off guard. A 32-yard scamper by Tyson Beatty gives the Hoosiers a 1st and 10 at the Michigan 40-yard line. Handoff again to Green Ellis, and he will get maybe 1 yard. Let's take a look at the Gary's victory recipe for the Hoosiers.
Well, we talked about Matt LaVecchio running and throwing. We will see both of that. Tailback must keep this game and the clock running. I'd say 8 or 9 touches every quarter and some cheap points. I'd like to change that right now to cheap plays. Okay, can I change that or is it too late?
Well,
cheap points for IU. I'd like to see him get a couple of no-brainers.
Indiana has scored 3 times this year from over 90 yards. Their special teams have been very special. As you just saw a moment ago, they keep the ball on that fake punt. LaVecchio rolls right, has a receiver at the 30, inside the 30-yard line, and down near the 25 for another Indiana first down. Let's check in on the pits down in the sidelines with Jackaroo. Jack?
There's no way to sugarcoat this, guys. An awful lot of people thought that Michigan would come in here and roll over the Hoosiers, but not Jerry DiNardo, the head coach. He told his team in a Thursday meeting, he said, fellas, all the pundits say there's 1,000,000 reasons why we should lose this game. He said there's also 1,000,000 reasons why we can win it. He says that's why the term upset is in the dictionary.
Where am I? racetrack or a football game?
I know. Every time I've thrown it to Jack over the years, Jack and I have been working on auto races, so this is the first time we are together for football, which is awesome. And Lavecchio gets hammered at the 20-yard line. That is Woods, Pierre Woods, who made the stop and upended Lavecchio after he had gained about 4.5.
And you know, as Jack said, you know, and kind of elaborate on that, Jerry DiNardo's gone to Matt Lavecchio this week and said, listen, you got to hump it up. I mean, you're going to get hit. You're going to keep carrying the ball. We must play Michigan in the run game 11 on 11. It's no good for you just to hand the ball off. You have to carry the ball.
Lavecchio, we told you, he was very effective when he was a true freshman at Notre Dame. He had played with a lot of confidence. We're seeing that back now in the Indiana uniform. Tucks it up again, and we'll have the first down.
There's the option play. One of the things Lavecchio had going for him at Notre Dame, though, was a great turnover defense for Notre Dame. He doesn't have that luxury here. Each time that Indiana has an opportunity to score, like this drive, they must put points on the board to keep this a football game. And some of the new formations that IU's running right now is giving them problems, giving the Michigan defense some problems.
Ninth play of the drive, opening possession. If you just joined our coverage, we're in Bloomington, Indiana. And the Hoosiers have taken it.
That's the fullback way down there, giving them a little problem.
Whoa.
There's the mistake.
And the snap. And that's the mistake they couldn't ill afford, and Lavecchio will follow on the ball, but way back. It'll be marked about the 42-yard line.
Now remember, that's a new center. Mangiero got hurt, their center from a week ago, and Yankee, who played right guard, is now the center, and you could expect things like that to happen. 72, right guard a year ago. Here's the shotgun snap, and this one goes sailing. The IU basketball team might not get that one.
That was a jump ball, a loss of 29 on the play. And we told you that Hurton Hoosier offensive line could certainly have an effect early on. The Hoosiers have scored first in every game this year. In all 4 games, a touchdown in the opener against Central Michigan and field goals in the next 3. They're trying to move here in their opening possession. Shovel pass inside, and that's what San Diego State used so effectively a couple of weeks ago up in Ann Arbor against Michigan.
Yeah, that's what Michigan is well aware of it. IU has showed it against Michigan State a week ago. But Michigan's defense will substitute freely. In fact, in their nickel situations, as you can look up here, they might bring on as many as 5 substitutes and change their defense up, keeping guys fresh all game. Indiana, I can't stress this enough, to keep it a football game, they must make plays when they have the opportunity to make them. When you're 1st and 10 on the 15-yard line, you have to at least get 3 points.
Not what the Indiana offensive coaches wanted to see. 3rd and 38 with this Michigan defense, and he underthrows. The toss is low, intended for Jakeem Gilmore. Gilmore had some running room, but the ball was thrown at his feet.
Absolutely, and that would have gotten them, Indiana, into field goal range. Now, I don't think they're going to kick field goal from this far. You're going to have to go to punt protection, and I assume Michigan this time will go punt safe.
Well, that'll bring on Tyson Beatty again, and last time he lined up to punt, he scampered for 32 yards for the first down. Don't believe it'll happen here.
No, and Michigan's staying with their regular defense this time, too. They'll play safe.
Leon Hall back to receive the punt, standing on his own 10, and Beatty will loft a floater, and Hall will call for the fair catch at about the 17. Well, defending Big Ten champion Michigan gets their first chance on offense today. And we've talked a lot about the 2 true freshmen starting in the backfield. Chad Henne makes his 5th start at the helm of the Wolverine offense. He is just the 3rd true freshman quarterback to start at Michigan. His numbers not bad at all, 58% completion, and he's thrown more touchdowns than interceptions.
I think that the down marker chain guy got leveled on that last punt play.
Early on here in Bloomington, no score. Back with more in a moment.
A tragedy turns to triumph on a new Extreme Makeover Home Edition Sunday only on ABC.
Get into the game now with Enhanced TV at ESPN.com and interact for your chance to win a premium SUV.
Back in Bloomington, there's a look at the reason we had the timeout. One of the sideline workers there on the down marker. And now we are told that it's Denny Meadows who took a lick from one of the players being blocked into it.
Yeah, if you're playing golf with Denny Meadows tomorrow, you got a threesome. Denny's not going to be able to play tomorrow. It looks like a concussion. Or bet him extra, one of the two.
Well, I tell you what, he took a heck of a lick over there, and word was he might have been out just for a few seconds, but he's sitting up, and they've attended to him. And on that exchange a moment ago, and it looked like a player might have been blocked into him as he was holding the yards marker. There's Jerry DiNardo, third-year head coach here at IU, 12th year as a head coach and Division I college football. Spent 4 years at Vanderbilt, 5 at LSU.
Jerry's really not pretending himself that this thing is done being built here. He's trying to survive this year and get through it.
Well, earlier in the week, we had a chance to ask the freshman quarterback, Chad Henne, why he chose to go to Michigan.
And when you look at Michigan, you see all the great tradition. You see 5 quarterbacks in the 90s just going on in the NFL. And just being around Coach Leffler, just a great quarterback coach.
Well, it certainly worked out for him. The young man has become only the third true freshman to start. We mentioned Rick Leach back in 1975. And Rich Hewlett started in Ann Arbor against Ohio State back in 1979. We just joined our coverage. Opening possession for Michigan. Indiana took it, and on a fake punt was able to retain possession inside the Michigan 15-yard line. A missed snap out of the shotgun cost them 32 yards and ended up having to punt it away without picking up the points. And now Michigan gets it for the first time here on offense. And he will hand it off to the true freshman tailback, and he will leap over a tackler and get a couple of yards.
Big middle linebacker, leading tackler in the Big Ten, Kyle Killian, number 43, taking on Dudley. He's going to know what Dudley looks like, where he lives, what his facial expressions are, because number 32 will be going at that middle linebacker all day.
Yeah, he'll be seeing Dudley in his sleep for a few weeks. Second and 7 for the Wolverines. Again, a heavy dose of the true freshman. And we take a look at the Wolverine backs and receivers. We told you it was going to be a fresh start for the backfield. True freshman Michael Hart gets the call. Came off the bench in the first 4 games of the year. Leads the team in rushing. And up front, the best of the big Blue Dozers is Lombardi and Outland Trophy candidate Dave Boss, making his second start at center. 6'5", 325-pounder. Anchors the middle. Third of the yard for Michigan, and their opening offensive possession. Get to the big back, and he will lumber forward. And the Indiana faithful thought they had stopped him. Looks like his forward progress is going to be very, very close. Let's check in back in New York and John Saunders. John?
Bulldog Taco Bell with this update. Virginia Tech facing West Virginia. Vincent Fuller already had a fumble return for a touchdown, and he gets his interception, which seals the victory. The BCS conferences, only the Big East does not have an undefeated team.
So the Mountaineers go down to defeat Virginia Tech after that disappointment last week at home, missing a last-second field goal that cost them a loss. First and 10 for the Wolverines of Michigan, dancing forward, up across the 40, and finally shoved out of bounds. That is Michael Hart, again, the true freshman. Take a look at the Hoosier defensively. The heavy Hoosiers up front, led by all-conference candidate Jody Clemens, who has a special incentive today. He is a Michigan native from Lansing. Linebacker Kyle Killian leads the Big Ten in total tackles. And then the secondary, the pickpockets are led by a true freshman, Tracy Porter, who leads the team with 3 interceptions, co-Big Ten leader with Michigan's Marcus Curry.
Well, you can see if you're a Michigan fan what the game plan is today. It's established that running game as the rest of the season goes on. Lloyd Carr believes he's going to need it to win down the road. Minnesota, Purdue, Ohio State. And they're right today, kind of almost using this as a test to that offensive lineman.
Absolutely. That was a gain of 16 by Michael Hart. So let's take a look at the victory recipe.
Well, anytime Michigan wins, they always use Braylon Edwards. He's a mismatch no matter what Indiana does, and Michigan knows they can call on number 1 anytime. But to get that heart pumping, Michael Hart, can they find that running game for Michigan? That's what the goal is. Obviously, win the game and run it, and substitute freely throughout the game. Remember, A physical football game coming up a week from today. Can Michigan get through this game and play a lot of guys?
Well, for years we've heard that Michigan was all heart. They have been all heart for the first 5 plays, and now Henne will try to toss it upfield and gets it swatted away at the line of scrimmage. Well, Monday night, join Al Michaels and John Madden in Baltimore as Priest Holmes and the Chiefs take on Ray Lewis and the Ravens. Monday Night Football, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, right here on ABC. And former IU quarterback and current Kansas City Chief Trent Green. There are his numbers. The most recent Indiana quarterback to start in the NFL. And by the way, his start Monday night will be the 52nd consecutive start, breaking Lenny Dawson's franchise record for the Chiefs.
Nobody deep for IU. Not one safety 5 yards deep.
Crossing pattern, has a receiver at the 40, hits him, stays on his feet, and just almost gets away. That is Jason Avant, the junior wide receiver out of Chicago. Gain of 14 and another Wolverine first down.
What a great read by Chad Henne. The slot receiver inside was double teamed that time. He went to his next guy, the crossing route, and remember a week ago, Michigan fans, those passes were behind the receiver. Today, he's readjusted those sights and got that one right on line to Avant.
Gary, you've watched Chad Henne develop over the first 4 weeks. He seems to be getting better almost visually week after week.
Well, he just feels more comfortable. He has the skills, but now he kind of says, all right, I belong.
Back to pass again, looks upfield, has a receiver behind the defender. Touchdown, Michigan. A 40-yard completion to Jermaine Gonzalez, a 5th-year senior out of Pontiac. And
what a nice
Wolverines
story!
are on the board.
What a nice story for Gonzalez. Watch this stutter, about 12 yards down, kind of breaks down. That does it against the man-to-man, runs right by Larkins that time, and this deep ball. And, you know, we talked to the Michigan coaches about Chad Henne. He said he's got a great strong arm, but doesn't throw a particularly great deep ball yet. Well, he's coming, and that will be difficult to stop.
Garrett Rebus up for the extra point. The kick is up and good. And as you look once again at a 40-yard completion, the true freshman Henne to Gonzalez. And that puts the Wolverines on the board 7-zip early here in Bloomington. ABC Sports presentation of college football is being brought to you by Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. By Hartford Mutual Funds, official corporate partner of the NCAA. By Miller, there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. By Outback Steakhouse, no rules, just right. And by AOL for Broadband, proud sponsor of First and 10. Well, the Wolverines of Michigan on a 40-yard Henne to Gonzalez pass play go up in their opening offensive possession 7-0. Once again, Lance Bennett will let it bounce out of the end zone, and Indiana will take over on their own 20.
They got a pretty good game plan against Lance Bennett. Just kick it out of the back of the end zone. And Matt LaVecchio is going to have to do a lot of things, and he's got some skills to do it for this Indiana team. We've been talking about it. He's been around a while, just the opposite of Chad Henne. He's gained a lot of knowledge, different offenses, learned it all, and he's balanced. That's why he was recruited to throw the ball and run, and when given time, he's very accurate. The key, can he get the time to throw the football?
You know, last year he threw only 3 touchdown passes and 9 interceptions. He certainly turned those numbers around in the first 4 games this year. Playing with a lot more confidence, tucks it up, runs, gets up near the 25. Will have a gain of almost 5 before Pat Massey brings him down. We are at Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana, along with Gary Danielson and Jack Arute. I'm Jerry Punch, subbing for Brent Musburger. Glad to have you with us for this Big Ten showdown between the defending conference champion Wolverines of Michigan and the Hoosiers of Indiana. Second offensive possession for Indiana against one of the best run defenses in the country, and a flag comes in from across the field as they are up near the first down and across the 30.
Yeah, late flag right into the middle of that line. When you got new young players playing, they're trying to make their blocks. Usually they grab somebody.
And you called it, Gary. It'll be holding against the Hoosiers.
You know, today we're going to take a look all game at first down. Everybody gets kind of concerned with third down. We're going to take a look at first down. And the goal for both teams is to gain 4 yards or more on first down. Looking at Indiana, so far they've had 5 of them. There's the play calling. 2 runs, 3 passes, and they're 2 for 5 on 4 yards or more. That sets up the offense. When you can keep it 2nd and 6 and less, that means you can run anything on second down. That's what Indiana has to do.
So the 4 yards on first down is the key, sort of the norm for coaches around the country when
Absolutely.
they teach offense.
Yeah, 4 or more, and the key to doing that is blocking this guy, Big Gabe Watson right there. He usually requires 2 guys to block him and keep those linebackers clean.
Yeah, good luck. Well, on the holding, it'll be a 2nd and 11 for Lavecchio, who will throw behind the intended receiver, Green Ellis. We'll take a look at the Big Ten teams in action today. The final, Iowa over Michigan State. Of course, Purdue, Notre Dame in the second quarter. Orton getting it done there.
Yeah.
How about your alma mater there,
Yeah,
Jared?
20-3. They haven't won there in a long, long time. Look at Wisconsin. That's a scoring binge for Wisconsin, 10 points.
Wisconsin getting some offense back with Anthony Davis coming back healthy.
Really look forward to seeing Chris Ganner play for Penn State. I've always liked his throwing delivery. Let's see if he can catch fire there at Penn State.
3rd and 11 for the Hoosiers. They get some pressure. Lavecchio intends the pass for Green Ellis. He can't hold on.
Just nothing there. You know, it's a double-edged sword for Indiana. You don't want to take chances and create turnovers because Michigan's like shark in water, blood in the water, smelling with those turnovers. But if you play it too safe, you're just not going to move the ball against the Michigan defense.
And a big missed opportunity if you just joined our coverage when Indiana had the ball inside the Michigan 15-yard line on their opening possession after a fake punt. And a bad snap cost them 30 yards and they had to punt it back away. Speaking of punting, Tyson Beatty standing at his own 5. And what a nice punt. Beatty gets off a high floater. They will call for the fair catch at the 40-yard line. Leon Hall after a 41-yard kick. The Wolverines will take over once again. Back with more from Bloomington in just a moment. Back in Bloomington, let's take a look at the Michigan performance track for the Wolverines on their opening possession.
Trying to run the ball, and of course when they throw it, they do it very well because they throw the ball deep on first down.
First 5 plays they ran were handoffs to Hart, and they started throwing the football. They throw it again, and a great catch over the back of the defender by Tyler Ecker, the backup tight end.
That's a bad read right there, and he got away with it. Throwing the ball to Tyler Ecker with Kyle Killian right in the middle of the throw. Watch this. You throw this ball and you go, okay, I'll throw it to the tight end. Killian reads it very quickly. He's right there. He throws it high enough for Ecker to get that rebound, basically, over the shorter Killian.
Ecker spent a couple of years away from the program on a Mormon mission, has come back and become a factor here as a tight end. Toss again to Hart, comes near side and will be inside across the 50 to about the 47. Let's take a look at the Jeep rushing playbook.
Well, Michigan, when they run the ball, they like to do it behind their best guys, their go-to guys. Jake Long, the tackle, one-on-one, blocked down with Lentz, and bring the center, David Boss, around. Look at that. Freeze it up. You go to your best, go to your strength, and Michigan does it well. Big Boss.
Big Boss, who made 30 consecutive starts at left guard, making his second start at center. And he has certainly been a force up front as well as a leader in that offensive line. Again, the handoff. Nice sidestep by the freshman, but he can't get away. And he will lose about a half a yard. Let's check in on what's happening with Georgia back in New York with John Saunders.
Thanks, Lettuce. The Verizon Wireless update. Georgia is facing LSU this week. David Green goes 25 yards to Reggie Brown. He gets the terrific catch. And Georgia now up 7-0. Meanwhile, Purdue is handling Notre Dame. Kyle Orton at it again, 20-3.
That's Kyle Orton making a statement for that trophy at the end of the year. Been awfully good. He was good at the end of last year as well. Completion.
And nice throw to Braylon Edwards right there. But watch Braylon Edwards. As Jack said, he's grown. He used to just want to catch the ball. Watch this on the running play on first down. He comes in and says, Will Lumpkin, Welcome to the Big Ten. Will Lumpkin off the field with that crackback, and that makes the Michigan coaches proud of this guy. Not those stats. Those stats are great. We know I can do it, but the way he blocks.
He's matured as a football player, as Jack
Absolutely.
Narute alluded to at the beginning of the show. He's matured as a person, and on the football field, very, very unselfish acts. Henny back to throw once again, almost has it picked off, and Edwards just takes it away from the defender.
Oh, my.
Just fought the defender and took that one away.
That's another bad read by Chad Henne. You can see what the Michigan coaches are dealing with right here. A young quarterback who's got great tools, but isn't reading things properly. Paul Szczesny's number 6 is standing right in front of Braylon Edwards. Look at Edwards take that ball away from Szczesny. Szczesny says, I got an easy interception. Should have been 2 interceptions on this drive so far for the Michigan quarterback. He's living good right now. Braylon Edwards, wonderful play.
Outstanding athlete. That'll make a first down here for Michigan. Inside, huge hole, and Hart slips trying to cut back. If he makes that cut, then we're talking 6 more for Michigan. Well, tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern Time, 10:30 a.m. Pacific, join ABC Sports in Ireland for final round coverage of the World Golf Championships American Express Championship. Those of you on the West Coast can catch third round action coming up next right here on ABC. Second and 4 for Michigan. Again, Hart cutting it back, will be up maybe just about a half a yard shy of the first down sticks.
You know, Michael Hart, I don't know if he's got the home run speed yet, but he sure knows how to get through there. You know, for a little guy, he likes running the ball between the tackles. Number 32, Kevin Dudley. That's the guy to watch. If you want to watch some Big Ten football, watch number 32 and number 43 collide all day. Just keep an eye on the big fullback in front of Michael Hart. That'll lead you to a lot of action up there for Michigan.
Michigan is 3 of 3, as you see, on third downs. They have not been stopped yet. And almost caught in the backfield. They will be stopped there. Make it 3 of 4. Kyle Killian, the Big Ten's leading tackler, knifes through to make the stop.
Kyle Killian, a leading tackler in the Big Ten, reads it fast. Anybody that makes a lot of tackles at middle linebacker is good at reading the plays, and that's what Killian does well, reads those plays.
A 44-yard field goal attempt by Garrett Rivas out of Tampa, Florida. As long as 47 yards, has the leg, and he hooks it left.
It's got to be disappointing for the Michigan football team. 3rd and short and not pick it up. You know Lloyd challenged him, but Jerry DiNardo says you want to play Big Ten football at Indiana, you have to play the big boys and turn this program around, and he's proud of them right now.
And you know, we asked head coach Gary DiNardo, you're in a transition period. How difficult is it to install a new system here?
You know where you want to go philosophically. You know what you want the X and O's to do eventually. But the guys on the team are more important than what you want to do. So you always are trying to adjust when you first take over a program, what you want to do to the personnel.
Indeed he is. He's trying to adapt the personnel to what he wants to do offensively as opposed to the other way around. And it's working. Matt LaVecchio made an adaptation there on the option and gained about 5.
Yeah, he almost has to kind of let it fly here with his quarterback. You know, a lot of coaches don't want to get their quarterbacks banged up. But in Indiana, I think if you're going to move the ball successfully, you're going to have the quarterback run the football. Looks like we're running down at the end of the first quarter here, too, and Indiana's going to let it run out.
Clock ticking down here in the first quarter. And the only score was Michigan on their opening possession as Chad Henne tossed it 40 yards to Jermaine Gonzalez. Only his 4th reception of his career. This one gives the Wolverines 6. They're up 7-0 after a quarter. Back in Bloomington, take a look at the total offense here in the first quarter, and that's a little bit deceptive, Gare, that 54 yards for Indiana.
32 of them were on a punt, so, you know, they haven't done much.
Tyson Beatty on the fake punt, so they haven't had a whole lot of offense. We'll see if they can get it untracked here in the second quarter. LaVecchio has a receiver up near across midfield.
And that was Big Roby, their playmaker right there, that caught that one. That's what LeVecchio has to continue to do.
Got to be all about balance here. He's able to run the ball, run the option somewhat, and now be able to complete the ball downfield, stretch the field a little bit, I guess, against some of that Michigan defense.
Any way they can keep the Michigan defense off balance is probably their best chance to move the football. LeVecchio has to make sure he takes care of it and then still make the tough throws. It's a tough challenge for a quarterback to play from behind like he is when he doesn't have the best talent on the field.
1st and 10 across midfield here. Opening possession of the second quarter for Indiana. And the inside handoff to the fullback, Panozzo. He will get a couple of yards. Let's check in on Miami back in New York with John Saunders.
Well, it's the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT, and it does involve Miami facing Georgia Tech. Brock Berlin to Roscoe Parrish, 12 yards after the nice move. And Georgia Tech trails Miami now 10-3. The first quarter about to end.
Atlanta's had a tough time with hurricanes this year. They've had 3 or 4 across the city and high winds, and now getting another dose today. Hurricanes getting it done there at Georgia Tech.
There's no I in the hurricane over there at that
Timeout here on the field. We'll take a break and come back to Bloomington in just a moment. Stay with us.
Allstate presents Good Hands Flashback. In Michigan's 2004 season opener against Miami of Ohio, Wolverine wideout Braylon Edwards caught 6 passes for 94 yards, including 2 touchdowns. His second touchdown, a juggling catch from quarterback Chad Henne, electrified the Michigan faithful on their way to a 43-10 victory.
Back at Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, along with Gary Danielson and Jack Arute, I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. Big Ten action here. Indiana opening possession of the second quarter, trailing 7-0. LeVecchio takes it on the draw. Let's check in down on the sidelines with Jack.
Well, Gary and Jerry both said early in this game that it was important for Matt LeVecchio to run like he was a tailback. You saw it on that run. You guys know most quarterbacks will slide. Well, the coaches said you can't do this against Michigan if we have a chance to win. You got to put your head down and run north-south.
And Jack, that's exactly what he's done here. And Gary, that's what Jerry DiNardo told us, is that if we have a shot in this game with a banged-up offensive line, LeVecchio is going to have to be very creative running the football.
Yeah, he's done it. You see all the guys looking at wristbands. This is a wrinkle for this game, and it's designed to keep the Michigan defense from substituting. They're going to get into the 5-receiver look, but with regular personnel. Now, there's going to be some problems with it. It isn't going to work perfect all the time because they're new at it, but they still have to do it.
Back in just a moment here to Bloomington. ABC Sports presentation of college football is being brought to you by Nissan. Everything we touch, we shift, and everything we shift, we try to make better. By TIAA Craft, financial services for the greater good. By Budweiser, grab a cold, fresh Budweiser, it's game time. And by AOL for Broadband, proud sponsor of 1st and 10. Well, Indiana used 2 timeouts in the span of 26 seconds. Couldn't get the play in a moment ago. Had to go to the sidelines and talk it over. As Roby goes in motion, we'll see what LeVecchio and company will do. They'll hand it off in the backfield, and gain of a couple by Chris Taylor. Well, now it's time for this week's Aflac trivia question. Who was the last Hoosier quarterback to lead Indiana to a victory over Michigan? Give you a little bit of time to think about that one, Gare.
Probably be governor of Indiana if you could win one. Right.
Probably close. Probably get a lot of votes.
I didn't do it.
2nd and 8 for the gain of a couple on the run. Take the inside handoff. LeVecchio takes the option, sidesteps a tackler, almost gets down to the 25.
Pretty good job by Adam Hines that time, number 75 in his new spot. He was a left guard. He's at left tackle. Another quarterback draw. And there's Indiana again, trying to keep it reasonable on 3rd down. We saw so far this year how potent that Michigan nickel package is, and Indiana's trying to keep it 3rd and short. Iowa had a terrible job against too many 3rd and longs against that defense.
Indiana is yet to convert as you saw a moment ago on third down today. 3rd and 4. Line of scrimmage and lots of pressure, and LaVecchio will go down. Lawrence Reed, the senior linebacker out of Pickerington, Ohio, will slam LaVecchio to the ground back at about the 37.
Yeah, that puts him out of field goal range again. And this was just running right over the tailback. It's not free. The linebacker comes, runs right over the tailback. Chris Taylor that time, and LaVecchio has no chance. And again, an opportunity for Indiana to get points on the board is now out of range.
A loss of 12 yards, and Jerry DiNardo says, what are we going to have to do, guys? We took the opening possession down inside the 14-yard line and had a mistake, and now we've got a sack. We got no points in the opening possession. Now a sack here to begin the second quarter.
Well, they had the one snap over the quarterback's head, but Michigan's going to stay defense stays here. They go, the only big play Indiana's really had is on the punt game. Let's just keep our defense out there.
Well, Tyson Beatty back again. He had a flash of offense, a 32-yard scamper in the first quarter. Now a flag tossed in the air, and Jim Lapatina, our Big Ten referee, will talk it over.
I don't know if Indiana has the right ball.
Delay a game. On the kicking team, number 44. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still 4th down.
Yeah, that's a no big deal penalty right there. In fact, I'm surprised Michigan didn't decline it because it's an just as easy punt from the 45-yard line as it is from the 40.
Yeah, Beatty's got some range. He hit an 80-yarder last year, 4th longest in Hoosier history, averaging almost 42 yards a punt. And he will stand back at his own 43. And shanks it. It hits at about the 20-yard line. Actually turns out pretty well for Indiana as Leon Hall takes it out at about the 14. Let's check in back with John Saunders, an update on Cal.
Pac-10 update, Cal against Oregon State. Remember, Cal has to play USC next week on ABC. It's Aaron Rodgers, 11 yards to Chase Lyman, as it's a 7-0 lead. Cal, USC awaiting next week.
Thanks, John. Indeed, that rematch next week of Cal and USC. We are told that the LA Coliseum is sold out, all 92,000 tickets. The first sellout for Cal and USC since 1930. Michigan's opening possession here in the second quarter. Henny will fake the handoff, take it himself, and rifles it upfield to Edwards, who will scamper up to about the 35.
Very, very simple pattern by Michigan. One they've been running for about 15 years here. They go in motion. The outside receiver goes deep. The motion receiver goes up and then just curls outside. And Indiana had no one within 15 yards of the best receiver maybe in the country.
Gain of 23 on that completion.
And now Michigan wanted to run the ball. They wanted to prove they could run the ball. And I think Lloyd now says they can't cover us at all. Chad Henne 6 for 7. We know we can throw the ball.
97 yards through the air for Henne, and they will hand it off again to Hart, and he stumbles over his own player over the back of Obi Olivo. Well, earlier we asked you the Aflac trivia question, who was the last Hoosier quarterback to lead Indiana to a victory over Michigan? The answer is, how about Dave Schnell? October 24th, 1987. And look at Dave at work here. He takes it in from 7 yards out, and Indiana takes the win over Michigan. It was not an upset that day, by the way. Indiana was ranked 15th, and Michigan was ranked 20th entering that football game. That's the last time they've won here. In fact, it's the only win Indiana's had in the last 28 years.
Yeah, you know, Michigan, the stats of Indiana's rush defense may be a bit deceiving. The two teams that really ran the ball well, and both ran with their quarterbacks, Kentucky and Michigan State. So far, Michigan has not been clean running the ball.
And he will try to shift it out to Hart on the screen. Sidesteps the tackler, has one man to beat upfield, and a great effort upfield by Buster Larkins, the cornerback, to fend off the blocker and make the touchdown saving tackle.
very nice the way the tailback, Michael Hart, sneaks out to his left and then goes to the right on the screen. Michigan, a very, very good screen team. Very tough sometimes to go one direction with a screen guy and then come back the other direction. And Kyle Killian, number 43, was the middle linebacker who had him, and he just couldn't catch up to him.
Boy, Hart sidestepped Hernandez Jones, who is no slouch whatsoever. It's a very, very talented free safety. Just stepped right around him and headed upfield. 170 yards of total offense from Michigan. Pressure and first sack of the day by the Hoosiers coming from Jody Clemens, the big guy in the middle. Remember, we told you he is a Michigan native from Lansing.
You know, it's pretty interesting. Michigan again throwing the ball on first down. You know, and I know talking to the Michigan people, they wanted to see and prove to the rest of the Big Ten that they could run the ball on first down. Already on this drive, 2 first down passes, actually 3 first down passes, I believe.
3 times they have thrown it on the opening down of the possession. 2nd and 18 for Michigan. And again, Henne, the short toss to Edwards, and he tries to cut it back and will gain a couple. Well, tonight you can see 2 of the season's biggest hits back-to-back at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. The show many are calling the best new show of the year, Lost, and a special 2-hour encore that'll leave you on the edge of your seat. Then at 10 Eastern, the best new reality show of the year, Wife Swap. 2 of the season's best, one special night, Lost, and Wife Swap starting tonight at 8 Eastern time, only on ABC. Well, this crowd coming to life here at Memorial Stadium, trying to get their Hoosiers to stop them on 3rd and 15. Henne back to pass, has a receiver upfield. It's Edwards, and he will be out of bounds with a great catch right at the first down marker.
I'll tell you, that's a great throw right there. I mean, that's a senior throw for a quarterback. He reads man-to-man coverage. Indiana comes with the blitz, but watch Braylon Edwards run right through this ball. Look at that spiral. That's a Drew Henson throw right there. Look at it, outstretched right on the fingertips. You cannot throw a football any better than that.
Strong arm. We told you he had a strong arm, but nice touch for a true freshman.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it was a great catch by Braylon Edwards. There's no doubt, but that throw was on a line, ripped about 35 yards.
It's enough for the first down. Gain of 15 on that play. And they will toss it to Hardy. Will cut it back and get about a yard and a half. We are at Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana. Along with Gary Danielson and Jack Root, I'm Jerry Punch as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. The opening Indiana possession, a bad snap. They were down inside the 15-yard line, and it stalled the Indiana drive. And this 40-yard completion gives Michigan 7 points on their second possession. And that's where we stand as the Wolverines are up 7-0 over the Hoosiers.
Michigan's in with 2 tight ends and a fullback. They're 5-1 run here. Let's see if they do bootleg or something different off of this formation.
A motion by the tight end. Henne looking to throw it upfield and has the receiver out of bounds at about the 3-yard line.
Yeah, how about that? Both teams, Tim Massaquoi there, both teams read the same stats, Jer. Michigan gets there and says, you know what? We've always run tight end, fullback, tight end going in motion. Let's do something a little different. This time we drop back, one-on-one. Tim Massaquoi came as a wide receiver. He's a little bit of an H-back and another perfect throw. So if you can't establish the running game, you establish the passing game and say, Minnesota, be ready for us. Our guy's growing.
Massaquoi, the senior out of Allentown, Pennsylvania, sets up a 1st and goal for the Wolverines. Fumble, and Indiana's going to jump on it as Michigan will turn it over on the Indiana 5-yard line.
I'm going to put that one under cheap points, okay, because Michigan was going to score, and this is a cheap stop. Nothing Indiana does but fall on the ball. You can see it just dropped by the quarterback, kicked by Dudley, and all of a sudden Indiana has a turnover when they're thinking Michigan's going to score on first down here.
That is the 11th turnover of the year for Michigan. Indiana takes over when we come back. Back in Bloomington, let's take a look at our Nissan Drive summary. Indiana's last 3 possessions.
Well, 2 good things about punt, punt, punt. No turnovers, and they both could have been field goals. So they've driven the ball a little bit. They haven't just completely been stymied.
A sack and a problem with getting the snap off cost them 2 opportunities at points.
Boy, that's the way to run the ball right there by Green Ellis.
Green Ellis, the sophomore from New Orleans, 210-pounder.
You know what sometimes is tough for a Michigan team, I think, when they go on the road and you're not playing a high-profile team, is they play at home, 100,000 people. They know they're supposed to win this football game. I'm sure even Lloyd Carr wouldn't admit it, but he'd like to win this game flat, you know, not really play all emotionally. But you come out here and it just doesn't feel normal to a Michigan player. Well, a little bit longer, it'll start to feel normal.
They played an emotional game against Iowa last week, trying to avenge the loss of a year ago. And Green Ellis will have enough for the first down. Tonight, 2 of 3 remaining undefeated teams in the SEC take the field as Carnell, Cadillac Williams, Ronnie Brown, and the Auburn Tigers take on the Tennessee Volunteers in a must-win game with significant BCS implications. College football prime time tonight at ESPN at 7:45 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. That should be a good one down at Neyland Stadium.
It really should be. You know, Michigan takes out Gabe Watson, and Indiana runs the ball up twice, right up the gut for a first down.
First down for the Hoosiers, and they give it to Green Ellis again, and this time he will have no room at all to run. Barely got back to the line of scrimmage. As we check in down on the sidelines with Jack Arute.
Well, Gary Danielson, you're absolutely correct. As I watch the sidelines on both sides here, the Michigan Wolverines are very flat. And as you said, they want to win flat because they're already looking towards Minnesota. But when you go over to the other side of the ball and you look at Jerry DiNardo's Hoosier squad, they've got a little more bounce to their step. I think that they are beginning to believe that term upset in the definition that Jerry DiNardo gave them before this game.
Well, Jerry DiNardo has done a phenomenal job. We told you he was at Vanderbilt and LSU before LSU was a major force, was able to pull off the upsets there. Well, let's learn a little more about Indiana's starting quarterback, Matt LaVecchio.
When I was a kid playing football growing up, I pretended to be Joe Montana. My favorite class in school is math because there's an answer. My favorite historical figure is Vince Lombardi, one of the best football coaches of all time.
Not bad at all to emulate Joe Montana and be a fan of Lombardi.
You know, that's a name a lot of guys choose, isn't it? It's not a bad guy to grab. John Elway, and I'm sure the guys now are going to grab Favre, Tom Brady. You know, there'll be new names all along.
How about the guy up in Indianapolis, Mr. Manning?
Yep.
LaVecchio back to throw, fires it upfield. And there was some contact there, and boy, the Indiana coaches do not like. DiNardo was out on the field talking to the official.
I thought Leon Hall ran right through the receiver that time and got there just a hair early on that throw. Leon Hall had the big interception a week ago. This is another well-thrown ball. Move the quarterback on third down, avoid the pass rush. LaVecchio puts it right there, and you can see Leon Hall knocks it down. You know what? He got away with it because he hit the ball. Had he not hit the ball, they would have definitely called interference.
They got a hand on the ball and tipped it as he came across on the Roby. That'll set up a punting situation once again for Beatty. And he hits a mortar shot way up in the air, which drives back Hall to the 25. He will cut it back. Still on his feet. Oh, Hall has some running room. Has one man to beat. 40, 35, 20, 15, and Leon Hall will take it to the house. So back-to-back plays by Leon Hall, swatting away the pass and preventing the first down and then returning the punt.
How ironic, when we talked to Jerry DiNardo, he said, you know what, we don't want to let Steve Breston beat us. Well, Steve Breston doesn't make the trip, but you know when you're at Michigan, you got about 5 Steve Brestons. And Leon Hall shows you that one guy goes down and there's another guy, a highly recruited athlete like Leon Hall, to take his place.
Boy, some great downfield blocking for Hall. And the extra point is up and good by Garrett Rivas. Take a look at some of the downfield blocking on the kicker. Watch Edwards just level Beatty. Wow. A 76-yard punt return by Leon Hall. There's a look at Leon Hall, the sophomore out of Vista, California, who just returned a punt, 76 yards, his first career touchdown at Michigan. Here's a look at the quarterback comparison between Henne and LaVecchio.
And actually, both guys doing their job. LaVecchio's putting the ball on target. Chad Henne, 10 for 11. Remember, he got away with a couple of throws early in this game that could have been intercepted, and now he's just throwing strikes.
Henne missed his first pass, and now he's hit 10 in a row.
I think Michigan was offside on this kickoff.
Lance Bennett will take it at his 3-yard line, cuts it back. He can go to the house. He did it for 98 yards at Oregon, but he will not get by the defenders as he's shoved out at the 30-yard line. Grant Mason there making the tackle, but there's a flag way upfield.
Yeah, they were clearly offside, and the official on that sideline, the Indiana sideline, heard an earful, especially after that questionable pass interference that didn't get called. Would have been a first down, and all of a sudden the scoreboard changes on a punt return.
Wow. Two big momentum plays that have affected that man's team right there.
On the kicking team, number 9. 5-yard penalty, added to the end of the run. First down.
Well, Ray Lewis is the unquestioned leader of the Baltimore Ravens, but can he be trusted? Find out what happens when teammate Gary Baxter puts his trust in Ray this week on the new Monday Night Football halftime feature, You've Been Sacked. For what happened last week with Torrey Holt?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, man.
Good thing Torrey Holt's a good player. That might be a little embarrassing.
Yep. No one questions Torrey's ability.
You know, you got to believe this one as he says, I'll take care of your car. Go ahead, go in, and then all of a sudden the car is gone. It's not bad, I got to tell you.
That's a great halftime feature from Monday Night Football. There's a look at Lloyd Carr, his 10th year at head coach here for the Wolverines of Michigan.
Well, let's get straight to this one thing about Lloyd Carr wanting to win the game flat. He never would admit that. All I'm saying is he might like just to sneak through this week and really gun that team up for next week's Minnesota game.
Well, Gary, no coach wants to admit that his team can be a little bit flat. Here's the end around to Roby, and he's still on his feet, cuts it back, dances out of a tackle, and boy, if he gets by one more, he's got plenty of running room.
He ran 68 yards and made a 1.5-yard gain on that play.
Ernest Shazer, though, may have saved a touchdown.
Well, Ernest Shazer's another one of those playmakers on this Michigan defense. I mean, you go Ryan Mundy, Leon Hall, we haven't even named Marlon Jackson's name yet. He's a 3-time Thornton nominee. You know, I mean, they just got playmakers all over this defense.
Yeah, Jackson gets compared to Woodson by the head coach, so he's pretty good talent.
Yeah, you bet he is.
Gain of 2, actually, on Roby on that 70-yard sideline-to-sideline run. The pitch to Green Ellis, nothing doing. He will lose about 1.5 yards. Marlon Jackson, you just called his name a moment ago. He said, if Gary's going to talk about me, I'm going to do something.
Yeah, and you know, I draw the comparison more to Ty Law than Charles Woodson, but this guy up front is unlike Gabe Watson, unlike any Michigan guy I've seen in years. You don't knock him down. Look at him run. Always leaping over. That's a 340, 50-pound guy leaping over people and running. He's he's really a difference maker up front. You have to put 2 guys on him. You cannot go like a guard up to the linebacker and just push off on the nose tackle. He is a phenomenal football player.
When we talk about athletic, that's what we're talking about. The ability to move gracefully. And LaVecchio will be pulled down for another loss of a couple of yards. Well, coming up on the Valvoline halftime show, John Craig and former Notre Dame All-American Aaron Taylor will have highlights and analysis. Plus, they'll take a look ahead at next week's Red River shootout between Oklahoma and Texas.
Now, how come John doesn't get anything or Craig doesn't get anything? It's just former All-American Aaron Taylor.
Well, he's the new guy.
Oh, is that what it is?
You're being nice to me. I'm the new guy.
John, Canadian Hall of Fame hockey player, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. They know we love him, though.
Craig, the other half of the pony.
High floating punt by Beatty. Leon Hall, and he gets run into by his own player.
How can that be a penalty?
And I'm not so sure how they can call a penalty on that. His own player turned around and bumped into the
I think the officials should meet here now and see and just say, listen, I saw he got hit. Was it a Michigan guy or an Indiana guy that hit him? And then call that and pick that flag up.
Yeah, here comes Jim Lapatino over to talk it over. I'm sure some of the other officials probably saw that.
It might have just been his beanbag that he threw out right there, too.
We'll see what Jim has to say.
Kick catch interference on a kicking team. 15-yard penalty in spite of the foul.
Now, assuming that maybe an Indiana player pushed the Michigan guy, and that's not a penalty. That is just not a penalty.
Boy, that is not a penalty.
You could see the IU player trying to avoid the free kick. He's being blocked. He sidesteps, never touches him, and the Michigan player runs in to his own guy. Unless I don't understand the rules, I don't understand how that can be a penalty.
Well, remember that as we are in the Big Ten, that can be reviewed.
Well, that's going to be changed then if it can be.
Yeah, technical advisor Gene Carabine is upstairs, and he watched what we saw a moment ago as Hall is run into by his own man.
And Gene is watching the replays that we're showing right now. There it is. You can see the IU player avoiding, jumping away from Hall. The Michigan player runs into him, and if it is reviewable.
Yeah, that's Elijah Bradley who ran into Leon Hall. And one more angle that Gene is going to look at.
Indiana player does a great job of jumping out of the way here. And clearly.
Yeah. Let's check in down on the sidelines with Jack. Jack?
Well, Jerry, Jim Lapatino's crew is missing one of their critical members. There's a fill-in at side judge today because their longtime side judge on this team, Terry Anderson, well, he underwent the knife for open heart surgery on Thursday, and the entire crew wishes him well as he recovers in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And we do as well, Jackson.
Absolutely. I didn't know, and maybe I'm not reading my materials well enough, that penalties could be reviewed. So I just don't quite understand what's being reviewed on this play.
Well, Jim Lapatina on the phones upstairs, and once again, the Big Ten has taken a leadership position in this issue. Trying out the instant replay. It has to be indisputable video evidence, and he has talked to Gene Carabine upstairs, a technical advisor. Let's see what he had to say.
After reviewing the play, there's indisputable video evidence that shows that the teammate of the punt returner, that's who ran into the punt returner. There is no foul on the play. The ball will be put on the 16-yard line. First down, Michigan.
Lloyd doesn't have a problem with that. He just wants to make sure he has the ball. So I better do my homework because I thought penalties were not reviewable.
You know, I think I give kudos to the Big Ten.
Sure.
Having that instant replay, Dave Perry, I mean, I think a lot of conferences are going to follow suit. I've talked to officials in the SEC and the ACC, and everyone I've talked to is in favor of it because it helps them make the right call.
Well, it clearly was the Michigan player, and they got it right. And first and 10 from the 16 instead of out at midfield nearly. So Dave Perry, head of Big Ten officiating, you'll get a call from me Monday morning.
Yeah, Dave's also the national coordinator of the NCAA football supervisors. He sort of runs the whole show.
Clayton Richards in, the Indiana, Michigan quarterback from the state of Indiana, backup quarterback here, also just a freshman.
Yeah, he is from Lafayette. 6'4", 230-pounder.
See, I think Lloyd right now is wanting the clarification on why a penalty can be reviewed. He doesn't know the rules any better than I do. I've talked to him about it. He wants a clarification on that. First year in operation, and there's a few kinks here. One major one by me, I guess. See, I know 12 men on the field can be reviewed. Apparently that one can be reviewed. That's a penalty.
Yep. They told us that you cannot review holding and offsides and pass interference, personal fouls.
I think we're going to get clarification.
Play is also being reviewed again.
Yeah. Now the play is going to be reviewed as to where the ball was actually downed.
All right, and Jerry DiNardo trying to get an explanation from Jim Lapatina, who will head back over and put the headphones on and again talk to Gene Carabine.
Right now, Jim Lapatino said, boy, I liked it back in the Bo Woody days. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Keith Jackson doing the game, and to just go and play it and get it over with.
Let's look again at the play. They're going to try to determine where the ball should be.
Well, it's indisputable that the Michigan player runs into the kicker.
Right.
That is just completely obvious. Now Lloyd wants to know, where was that ball actually downed? And it was down right there, 16, 17-yard line. Okay, so that's pretty clear. You can't advance it. It didn't hit anybody for Michigan.
So about the 16 is where Buster Larkins picked it up there, and that's what Lloyd Carr wanted confirmed.
I mean, they might move it to the 17 or 16 and a half, but if that play can be reviewed, I think that's what Lloyd wants to know.
Now, we asked the Big Ten early in the week, what was reviewable, and we went over some of the things that they can review. Obviously, things that govern the sideline, the goal line, the end zone, or the end line. Incompletions, completions, and interceptions.
Sure.
Fumbles, was a knee down or not?
Too many men on the field, and I guess that's a...
Well, we got a big week of college football headed your way next Saturday. Showdown Saturday featuring 5 of the top 10 teams in the nation. First at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. It's the Red River Shootout. Number 5, Texas taking on number 2, Oklahoma.
The play was being reviewed. Was a question about, was it being touched by the receiver? It was not touched by the receiver. There was no flag on the play. It's still going to be first down at the 16-yard line.
I cleared that up. That yellow thing out there wasn't a flag.
It was a beanbag.
Well, they ought to change the colors of the beanbag then, maybe.
Make them orange or something.
Let's put it this way. They got it right. All right.
Yeah, I still totally believe in this replay system. I think it's a great system. Michigan will get the football just across the 15 of their own 15-yard line. Just over 2 minutes to go in the half here. Up by 14 and fumble. And Indiana has jumped on it once again. It already had 1 fumble. And again, this is a different quarterback, Clayton Richard, the backup quarterback from here at Indiana. Now, we want to remind folks watching at home that we have been in contact with Dave Perry, and what was being reviewed there was the fact, was the ball touched by the receiving team?
Yeah, but the first time they marched off 15 yards for hitting the kicker, so I'm still confused.
Chad Henne back in at quarterback. Hart bounces off the pile, turns it outside, and will be shoved out of bounds just prior to the first down marker, and a flag will come in late. May have been a late hit there over on the Michigan sidelines.
Well, you could see Hart right there bouncing outside. That's what he's going to do well. He's going to read that little blocking scheme, bounce it outside, and turn it up.
Personal foul on the defense, number 24. 15-yard penalty, added to the run. Automatic first down.
That's on Aaron Mitchell, the freshman out of South Holland, Illinois, as he was driving Hart out of bounds.
See it right at the end of this play. Drives him out of bounds. He's right on the sideline. Hart comes over and barely touches him. I don't understand that one either.
Yeah, they said it was on Mitchell, 24. He came in late.
I don't think it should have been on either one of them, to tell you the truth.
Well, 1st and 10 for Michigan now across the 40-yard line. Clock ticking down here in the first half. Henne has the pass completed out to about the 45. That is to Kevin Dudley, the fullback.
Kevin Dudley, a valuable football player. Don't think this guy's not skilled, okay? He blocks and he catches the ball very well.
1:13 to play here in the first half. Michigan up 14-zip.
We're bringing together a whole world of information, and it fits in the palm of your hand. In her lifetime, who knows how small the world will feel?
Advancing our understanding of genetics gives everyone the opportunity for a healthy life.
We're finding new ways to help businesses get going. Stay in Indiana. Be successful.
The arts speak to everyone, but they also speak for everyone.
This will be a remarkable century of discovery.
For all of us in Indiana.
Indiana University, at work in your neighborhood.
Back at Memorial Stadium here in Bloomington, Indiana. Big Ten matchup between defending Big Ten champion Wolverines of Michigan and the Hoosiers of Indiana. Along with Gary Danielson and Jack Arute, I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. Straight ahead, as Michigan up 14-zip. Our Valvoline halftime show coming up with John, Craig, and Aaron. Scores and highlights from around the country.
Now, minute 13, Michigan still has 2 timeouts. They've got great receivers, matchups all over the field. Their offensive line, when it's not been a blitz position, has given Chad Henne a lot of time to throw the ball, and Chad Henne has been brilliant with it, 11 for 12 so far in the game.
173 passing yards for Michigan, 214 yards of total offense in the first half for the Big Blue. Trying to add to their point total here in the final minute of the half. And Henne gets hit as he throws, and the ball wobbles upfield as Paul Chesney comes in and puts the pressure on Henne.
Yeah, overload blitz that time by Indiana. They brought 2 linebackers to the same side. Whichever person, ever linebacker the running back picks up, the other guy comes, and Killian and Chesney both put too much pressure on Henne. Indiana's pretty solid, pretty stout. You know, they don't have great speed in the secondary, but they're pretty stout up front.
They have done a nice job defensively here. Despite the fact that they have given up 14 points, they have played well here in the middle of the field. Third down and pressure again. Ball comes out and the fumble downfield. Here is Killian, will pick it up. 15, and the Big Ten's leading tackler will be brought down at the 10-yard line.
Boy, I'll tell you, that was a huge sack. Coming from behind, you watch. Third down play. Henne drops back in the pocket and gets blindsided that time. Big number 94, Adiajo, just gets it off, and Killian doesn't fall on it. He knows he's got a chance to score and goes right with it. Killian, he's the only one, Killian, that actually sees the ball. Everybody else thinks it's just a sack or a thrown ball. Nice scoop, and he almost gets it into the end zone.
Kyle Killian has led this team in tackles 2 years in a row. Came in leading the Big Ten in tackles per game and total tackles. What a job Joe Cullum's defense has done here in much of the first half. Now we'll see if the Hoosiers can once again try to get some points. They gave away 2 different opportunities in the opening possession. They were inside the 15, had a bad snap, had to punt it away, and early in the second quarter they had a sack which took them out of field goal range. Still scoreless. Handoff. Heavy run up for maybe a half a yard, and that is Green Ellis.
Now remember, Indiana burned 2 timeouts with that wristband stuff early in the half, remember? They only have 1 left. I'm surprised they didn't get 2 calls in a huddle or call a pass on first down. It's going to be under 30 seconds on after this play.
Sorry, Garrett. Final 40 seconds exactly here in the first half. They burned 2 timeouts in the span of 26 seconds because of trying to get the plays on and get adjusted. Here's LeVecchio. He will hand it off to Green Ellis. Left side, 3-yard, 2-yard. And is there a signal? No signal as yet. They will say he is down.
Indiana has to take a timeout. They do.
Now you could actually get a first down inside the 1-yard line.
Right. And then here's the tricky part now, Jerry, for them is if this play isn't reviewed, the clock stops on first down. Okay, now do you run a play right away or do you burn a timeout? They're going to try to run a play right away. Good strategy by IU.
17 seconds in the first half. The Hoosiers are threatening, down by 14 to Michigan. Following a turnover, the Henne fumble. And LeVecchio almost fumbles the football, and they're signaling touchdown Indiana.
How about that?
They're saying the ball crossed the plane before he lost possession, so Indiana gets 6.
Actually, just the opposite. He fumbled it, picked it up, and then reached across the goal line. Incredible play by Matt LeVecchio, and good management. Watch it. He drops the ball, reaches down, picks it up, and then goes. You know what? You wonder if his knee was down on that play. Now, you'd have to have irrefutable evidence, but Jerry Denard, and you're going to see this might get stopped right here. Michigan has taken a very smart timeout. Michigan has taken a very smart timeout. Let's see as he picks this up. Does his knee go down when he gets the ball? His left knee was down when he picked it up. Michigan, brilliant use of the timeout to give the replay official time to look at it.
Now from behind, watch his left knee as he drops the football. Watch that knee go right down.
And when he picks it up,
boom, on the ground.
He's down. He is absolutely down. And the way I understand it, Indiana will have the ball on the half-yard line again. So far, no one looks like there's a review underway. You can tell Jimmy's has not been buzzed right now.
Now, what signals the replay is the referee and
right there. There's the buzz. See right there. I think he might have got one.
They wear a beeper.
Right there. You see him reach back?
And the pager goes off, and now we'll hear from Jim once again.
Officials timeout. The previous play is going to be reviewed.
That was a great timeout by Michigan. I don't know if they just fell into it because they didn't have enough guys, but it turned out to give the official enough time to look.
We are at Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana, along with Gary Danielson and Jack Arute. I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. It's the Wolverines and the Hoosiers. Now let's show you what is reviewable here in the Big Ten. Plays governed by the sideline, goal line, end zone, and end line. And here are the pass plays that you can review.
Here we go. Here we go. This quarterback fumble. There's one right there. Okay.
And there are others with regard to runs, running plays.
Yeah.
Fumble or not, knee down.
That could be right there. There it is, right there. Obviously, we got it.
So they are taking a look upstairs. Technical advisor Gene Carabine. And there's Lloyd Carr. As you mentioned, a very, very wise sideline move.
I don't know if he fell into it or not. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, okay? But I'm telling you right now, Indiana must get ready to run a play. They have to assume it's going to go against them. Indiana still's got their kicking team out there. They should have their offensive team out there and get ready. They should have a play called because they have to be ready for the worst thing to happen.
By the way, that's Gene Carabine, who is a technical advisor upstairs. There are 3 people in the replay booth. Carabine, the former official. There's a replay expert, a TiVo expert, if you will, and a communicator.
Well, Indiana still has a timeout, and remember, the worst thing that's going to happen is it's going to be 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line.
Let's listen to Dave, Jim Lapatino.
After review of the play, there's indisputable video evidence that shows that the quarterback, after he muffed the snap, regained possession, but his knee was down on the ground. The ball will be put on the 2-yard line. On the 2-yard line, there's no touchdown. Clock will start on a snap because of the timeout.
And remember, there are only 9 seconds left. He lost 1.5 yards.
Yeah, absolutely. And with 9 seconds, though, you still have an opportunity to run 2 plays, easy. You have a timeout. You could run or pass on on 2nd down. I assume it'll go back to 2nd down because the 1st down play was the bumbled snap.
Now Michigan hustling to get their defense on the field.
Sure would like to know, in all honesty, if Lloyd called that timeout because he had the wrong extra point team on, or he wanted to give the official a chance to do it.
I got to give the veteran coach credit.
Hey, I wouldn't. Would you admit it if it was the other one?
Never. No way. Great call by Lloyd Carr. Now we'll see if Indiana can shove it in here with.
Now they got it on the
left.
3. It should be on the 2.
Yeah, the ball's still at the spot of the PAT.
The IU, you see, probably the 5th-year seniors have noticed that for IU. That's the 3, not the 2.
Oh, that was Gary Danielson, folks. 2nd and goal, 9 seconds to play in the first half. The 7 points goes away, the 6 goes away, I should say, from Indiana.
I'd like a play-action pass here.
Full house backfield, they give it to Green Ellis, and he finds his way into the end zone. Now, definitively, it is a touchdown for Indiana.
Well, Michigan had their chance, didn't they? And they got run right over by that rebuilt Indiana offensive line for the touchdown.
Watch again, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis behind 2 blockers in the backfield. Great block by John Pinozzo, the junior fullback.
Absolutely, and right behind a rebuilt left side of that offensive line. They've lost 2 offensive linemen, 3 throughout the year, and they stuck it right up Michigan that time.
Brian Robertson will attempt the extra point. The senior out of Seymour, Indiana, and the kick is up and good. So it's a 7-point football game here.
And Jarvis right there, I'll tell you, Green Ellis is a tough guy. You watch him in practice, he goes downhill, he runs out every play, 25, 30 yards downfield, he's a load.
Let's check in down on the sidelines with Jack.
Well, just how tough has Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis? Well, the other day he excused himself from the training table here at IU with just a small cup of rice. When asked about it, he says, man, this food up here in Indiana is way too bland. You see, he's from down in the bayou, and everybody that comes from the bayou needs this kind of stuff, Louisiana hot sauce. So he says, I cook at home. And I love a lot of this.
Oh, don't do that!
Yeah, right.
Wait. Let me see that. That can't be real. Look at that. That's.
Oh my gosh.
Wait. Let's see if his hair's standing up. Yeah, his hair's standing up. Look at that. That might be real.
Oh my gosh.
I can't talk
Hey, you know
anymore.
what, Jack? That's better than that bug you ate last year.
There's a look at Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, heavily recruited by LSU and Florida State, but decided to come to Indiana and become a Hoosier here for Jerry DiNardo.
You know, if that's real stuff that Jack ate, and I know he's flying out to the West Coast, I wouldn't want to be sitting next to him on the plane.
I may get a medical call to the sidelines here at halftime to work on Jack. Squib kick down at the 3 or 4 yard line should be the final play of the first half. Grant Mason will get up across the 30-yard line. Well, we are at halftime here at Memorial Stadium, and Michigan is up 14-7 over Indiana. Let's head down to Jack.
Well, Coach, what about that timeout? Was there a little bit behind that?
Well,
let's ask another question.
What do you think, Jack?
Great use by your decision to use that timeout.
Well, you know, I think that was an easy call. That was an easy one.
Get the rushing game in the second half?
Well, we need to.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Jack. Lloyd Carr gets the timeout and could have saved a touchdown. We're at halftime, 14-7, Michigan.
And this is the Valvoline halftime show, and the Wolverine fans are fired up and ready. They're up 14-7. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor for you. The Michigan fans are happy. Should they be?
Well, no. Let me tell you why. You look at the real numbers in this game here. Indiana's defense was giving up 222 yards a game on the ground. Michigan has 17. Now, would you be happy about that?
No, I wouldn't.
We talked about their defense getting 19 turnovers, but they can't get off the field today. Indiana's been able to hold the ball 18 minutes. Kill them. Get off the field, defense.
And remember, this is Indiana they're facing, not Ohio State. All right, elsewhere. LSU in the SEC facing Georgia. The Bulldogs were ready. Their offense has not been geared up much this year. They have been today. David Green to Reggie Brown, 25 yards, 7-0 was the lead for Georgia. They get it up to 17-0.
And you know what? David Green today is playing like everybody was expecting at this Georgia offense because of Green. Man, they look great today.
David Green with 3 touchdown passes, 24-7 against the defending national champions. Remember this, although LSU does have a loss already. Miami against Georgia Tech. This is now a conference game. Miami in the ACC, and Georgia Tech with their first chance to go up against them in the conference. Chris Woods, 55-yard run as he just finds an opening. Georgia Tech will get a field goal out of that one and have a 3-0 lead over Miami. Brock Berlin, has he been better today?
Brock Berlin's done okay today, but he's still not playing as consistent as we'd like him to. He's getting helped out. That offense as a whole hasn't been playing very sharp. The Miami Hurricane offense looked like everybody's pulling their weight today and playing a little bit better.
You know, when Miami moved over from the ACC, the thing that most people talked about was Miami facing Florida State. All right, that's been decided for this year. Miami has won it. Are they the best team in the ACC, though?
Right now, I'm just going to say it. I think Virginia might be the best team out there. When you talk about Virginia, this is a team that just believes in themselves. They're playing extremely well. They did lose Chris Canty this week to a broken leg. I mean, he's out for the season. He's gone. So losing Canty hurts them. That's an All-American on the defensive line. But I tell you what, I like what they have in the ACC.
I'm going to take a 15-yard penalty and jump on to what Craig said. But Miami just hasn't shown me the consistency of what's going on. Virginia playing very well on both sides of the ball. Miami, they have the potential to be the best team in the ACC, but until they solve those problems offensively, their defense is going to carry them, and they're not going to be able to get it done.
We'll give you a 30 and only a 5-yard penalty.
Piling on.
Throw the flag on that one. Let's move out west because this game could be important for next week. Oregon State and Cal. Dwight Wright, 45 yards in this touchdown run, and it ties the game at 7 apiece. Remember, Cal was the only team to beat USC last year. Terrell Williams, 79 yards to Chase Lyman this
Boy,
one.
it sure looks like they've been laid off for 3 weeks, doesn't it? We were all worried about that. So much for the layoff time. Cal getting it done again on offense in a very hostile environment.
Lyman with 3 touchdown receptions in the game, 28-7, still in the first half of this game. Here's the question now. USC had lost 1 game last year. It was to Cal. You know they have a week off this week. getting ready. Do you think it was good for them to play in a close one against Stanford?
Not really, because you know what it does? It puts doubt in the player's mind. Right now, you have to believe that for USC, they're like, oh boy, here comes Cal. Cal's playing very good. They had a little extra time to prepare with that opening because of the hurricane down in Florida. So, I mean, this is a football team that really has a lot going for them psychologically and physically.
Sorry, buddy, but this time I can't agree with you. I think it was great. I think anytime you have a big ball game that's coming up, you want to play bad, especially going in the bye week. Coaches love that because now they have something to harp on. Now they have something to go after the guys with, and you have that week extra. Plus, you add the motivation of that's the team that beat you last year. SC is going to be ready to play.
Now I understand why Notre Dame plays so bad today. They're getting ready for the game next week.
Great strategy. That game will be part of the showdown Saturday. We hope these guys survive it. A few scores. Speaking of Notre Dame, they're getting clobbered. 3-game winning streak about to come to an end. The Illini, no match for Wisconsin, and Oklahoma State all over Iowa State in this one. Now, I got to ask about Wisconsin. Are we forgetting about them in the Big Ten?
No, because their schedule, they still got some big fellers coming up down the road. But Anthony Davis coming back really helped them a great deal on the ground.
Wisconsin, Anthony Davis coming back is big, but their defense, they can rush the passer and they play sound defense. Barry Alvarez does a good job getting those guys ready. I think Wisconsin's going to make some things interesting, but I don't think they're good enough to upset anybody.
You said Anthony Davis is back? 213 yards. You think that's back?
That ain't bad. That's
3
good
touchdowns.
You know?
What? Wisconsin has their running game back, and they're proud of it. East Carolina against Louisville. Louisville, one of those undefeated teams in the mid-major here. Eric Shelton from a yard out, and then Eric Shelton from 3 yards out.
And you know the thing about Louisville, just look at them. That doesn't look like a mid-major team, does it? I mean, they're big, they're strong, they're powerful, and everything else. They play at Miami. That's the key to the season. Can Louisville's defense carry them to that national prominence?
Against Miami, if they get that victory, there's little question that they will wake some eyes up. But are they the best of a non-BCS conference team?
I don't know if they're the best, but they're certainly a very good team. You can't forget about Boise State. You can't forget about a Fresno State. You certainly can't forget about a Utah. But Louisville is a very good team going to the Big East next year. Virginia getting knocked off today. Louisville said, hey, I might like sitting on top of that mountain.
I'll go ahead and say, I think Utah, man, that impressed me last night, them smoking New Mexico, because New Mexico's a good football team. Utah's pretty darn good, so is Louisville.
And with the way the Big East is right now, and that is a down conference, there are going to be a lot of people who can shout long and hard at the end of the year if they're left out with a winless season.
Well, West Virginia has to play at UConn next in 10 days or something like that, 13th. Man.
We will find out. Of course, I didn't mean winless season. Lossless season. Coming up, we will have some more scores and highlights, an aerial attack here on ABC. There you go.
The Valvoline Halftime Show, brought to you by Valvoline Max Life, who reminds you at 75,000 miles, time to switch to Max Life.
This is the Valvoline Halftime Show. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor. Coaches will say, including guys like you, concentrate on the game at hand. Do not look ahead to next week. That was going to be tough for Texas and Oklahoma because they face off in the Red River Shootout next week. Oklahoma ready to stay for Texas Tech, and Adrian Peterson has been ready for everyone all season long.
This guy is special. A great combination of size and speed right there. You see him out running the defense. Only 19 years old. What a great impact he's had already to the Oklahoma running game.
Man, that great running led to a touchdown, and here's another. Jason White actually may end up with better stats this year than when he won the Heisman Trophy and not win it this year. Meanwhile, Baylor is facing Texas, and Texas again can't look ahead. Cedric Benson is looking ahead.
Cedric Benson wants to win the Heisman, and he wants to beat Oklahoma. Make no mistake about it. The offense is going to be there. Cedric Benson and that O-line, they got it going on. But the key in this football game will be Derek Johnson, number 11 on defense. Like today, Derek Johnson, that defense just shut down Baylor. Of course, that was Baylor. That wasn't Jason White and Adrian Peterson.
Peterson had a terrific day again. So let's look ahead to this matchup. Who do you give the edge to?
I like Oklahoma in this one. I think Texas is yet to really prove themselves. But that running game of Oklahoma, this was the thing that they did not have last year that cost them. Adrian Peterson has solved that. What's that done? It opens up the passing game, the play-action passing game for Jason White.
I'll remind all those Texas fans that you said you doubted them this week. All right, how about Cedric Benson? Cedric Benson, he's going to run the football. But I do believe believe it is Derek Johnson. Look at this guy, number 11. He will go get you. He will look you up, and he will find you, and he will hit you. Adrian Peterson better get ready next week because 11's the key in the game. If he makes plays, Texas has a chance, even though I know you don't think they do. It's all right.
We will be there in the flesh, so you better look at maybe wear a helmet next week. All right, West Virginia facing Virginia Tech, and for Virginia Tech, they're in the ACC. West Virginia unbeaten in the Big East. This is blocked, and Vincent Fuller picks it up and goes 74 yards for the touchdown.
Last week, Virginia Tech special teams let them down. Today, this was a pivotal play early in this football game with the special teams.
And then Rasheed Marshall will be picked off this time by guess who? Vincent Fuller. It seals the victory. So now there are no unbeaten teams in the Big East. North Carolina and Florida State. The Seminoles were ready. Wyatt Sexton, the replacement quarterback for Chris Ricks. 5-yard touchdown pass to Chauncey Stovall. Arkansas against Florida. The Gators and the mascot. Can we run up some points here? A reverse to Andre Caldwell. 61 yards on this run.
Call me crazy, but I'm seeing a little bit of the spark out of the Florida Gators, something that they've needed desperately. Chris Leak having a big day, 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards, the kid's growing up.
Ron Zook getting the job done this year. Seatric Faison goes in from 3 yards out. Chris Leak has to be more consistent if they're going to be successful.
And especially next week. You know, they got LSU coming into the swamp, so if he plays consistently like they are right now with that running game, watch out.
I still see in the SEC that Georgia is the team to beat. I've said it from week 1. I'll say it now.
I haven't been a real believer until this week. Georgia's showing some offensive moxie, coming out, getting some points early. They're going to need that balance to do well throughout the year.
You know, when you got that moxie down south, you got a chance in the SEC. Without moxie, you ain't got no chance.
We'll find out whether or not my pick at the beginning of the season comes true as we continue. This is the Valvoline Halftime Show.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Hey, hey.
Well, we've got a good one going on here in Bloomington, Michigan, up 14-7 over the Hoosiers, who are hanging tough. Take a look at our Pacific Life game summary first half stats. And I tell you what, Indiana has moved the ball pretty well.
They have, but the surprising thing, Michigan wanted to run the ball, and they haven't. And what's gone bad, and it's our out-of-whack stat today, Jerry. Look at this. Michigan's been living off the turnover this year, but today they are trailing 2 turnovers to none, and that's why it's a ball game.
And Michigan will get the ball to open the second half. They won the toss and deferred. And now we'll see if they can put some more points on the board. Remember that Breaston of Breston, their great return man, didn't make the trip as the ball blows off the tee. Steve Breston with a hand injury last week against Iowa and had to sit out this week. And there's Grant Mason waiting to return the kick, and Adrian Arrington also back there, the freshman wide receiver. Nice kick to the goal line. Across the 20, 25. There's Mason, cuts it back, has some running room. 35, 40. Down to the 30-yard line, and it's a foot right to the end zone. 15, 10, and Mason will be brought down finally at about the 3-yard line. A 97-yard return by Mason, the defensive back, and he had a 71-yarder early.
I'll tell you, Jason Avant, the ball's going to be kicked down here, but Jason Avant, number 8, if I can find him, has a key block on this play. Pushes his guy right by the player. Right there is the block. Look at Jason Avant. Do that very well, and that springs Grant Mason down the thing, and then Grant Mason, who had that interception for a touchdown a week ago for Iowa, and like you say, there are playmakers all over this Michigan football team.
Well, we started to talk just a moment ago during the break that Indiana has struggled in the second half all year long. Yeah. They have played so well in the first half, and that's a prime example. They're giving up a 97-yard kickoff return, and Hart Tries to get in but can't get there. Had a great football game in the first half. Indiana holding it close, and it could have been even closer if they hadn't thrown away a couple of scoring opportunities.
Well, Michigan threw away one too, Jerry. A fumbled snap down on the goal line, 1st and goal. They got it down there again. But it's the athletic skill of those secondary guys for Michigan that's going to tilt this football game, I think. They just got guys coming at you from every angle, like Grant Mason on that play.
Let's see if the Wolverines can shove it in. 2nd and goal. Opening possession here in the first minute of the second half, and Henne will take it himself. And no signal thus far as we check in on the sidelines with Jack Arute.
Well, Jerry, I was surprised. I was invited in the locker room for the Indiana Hoosiers, and believe it or not, no one spoke. None of the coaches except Steve Adazio. In fact, Jerry DiNardo never addressed his team. He didn't need to. The team was fired up. They were talking about no respect for Michigan. They said, look, regardless of what happens in the first couple of series, we've got to play 60 full minutes of football. Regardless of what happens on this goal line stand, the Indiana Hoosiers intend to be in it for the full 60 minutes.
Exactly, Jack. We showed them in the locker room beforehand, thinking about what could happen here today. And again, the big push. Still no signal. Henne trying to get across, and the linesman will come in and try to peel him away.
Boy, I just this is kind of surprising to me. They're trying to go behind David Boss, 2 straight quarterback sneaks. I mean, come on, give that ball to the tailback. You go behind Boss. Indiana has 4 guys inside the 2 guards for Michigan, and Michigan trying to stick it up there with the quarterback sneak.
How about Dudley, the 235-pound fullback? I mean,
I just think they could give the ball to the tailback and run off tackle.
Here we go.
Look at all those guys right in the middle there. They're forcing Michigan to run the ball off tackle.
4th down and goal. Can they get in? Hart will sidestep, and still no signal. Oh, now touchdown, Michigan. So Hart able to roll off the blockers and fall into the end zone.
Well, it's not like they walked into the end zone here. Indiana, no movement from that Michigan line. Hart bounces it outside, gets stopped, and then his momentum takes him over, breaks the plane very clearly. You can see it.
And a great push up front, this time by Boss. But a great effort defensively by Jody Clemens and Kendall Richardson at defensive front for Indiana. Garrett Rebus extra point is good. Back with more from Memorial Stadium in just a moment. And we are back. There's a look at Michael Hart, the true freshman who on 4th and goal was able to roll off and get in the end zone from Michigan. Add 7 here in the second half. And we'll see now if Mr. Bennett can get it done. He is a return expert, and he will barely get back to the 15-yard line. Chris Graham there to make the stop. Now, we told you that Indiana has struggled significantly in the second half in their 4 games this year, particularly last week when they led at halftime to Michigan State. Here's a look.
7 yards on the final 5 possessions. That's a game they thought they should have and could have won. It's been a funk around here in Bloomington since that game. They played very, very spirited football here in this football game. But let's see if they can get it back after that kickoff return by Michigan.
Great effort by their defense there to hold Michigan on 4 plays to 3 yards, although they were able to get in. Here's Lavecchio opening play offensively, and it's complete up near the first down marker, actually across the first down marker at the 28.
Yeah, that was the fullback again, Pinozzo right there. That's that fullback flanked out, regular people on the field to force Michigan to keep their regular people out there and then throw the ball like it's 5 wide receivers. See, there goes the fullback out there again. Michigan stays with their regular guys.
12-yard gain on their opening offensive play of the second half. Now the option down the line. Lavecchio will slide down for no gain.
Very well defense by Michigan that time.
There's a look at the leading tackler in the first half. Scott McClintock, the senior linebacker out of Bell Vernon, Pennsylvania. 5 tackles for the Wolverines.
Scott got nicked a little bit in the San Diego State game. Came back last week to get back in the action and having a good football game here today.
Yep, started first 3 of the year. Recovered a fumble versus Iowa last week.
Yeah, all the IU players are still looking at their wristbands here. Fullback wide, nobody behind. Michigan in their nickel, 3 down linemen.
Got to hustle, a couple of seconds to get it off. And he gets a timeout right at 1 second. And he will indeed get the timeout, so he will talk it over, and we'll take time with them. Michigan up 21-7. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Pontiac and the first ever G6, the next official performance machine of the NCAA. By Aflac, ask about it at work. By Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. By Capital One, no hassle rewards. What's in your wallet? And by AOL for Broadband, proud sponsor of First and 10. Timeout there by Indiana to try to get the play set. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Hoosiers. Their opening offensive possession here in the second half. LaVecchia wide open as Roby across midfield. And moving into Michigan territory, it'll be an Indiana first down.
What a nice call by the Indiana coaching staff on that play. Michigan came with a zone blitz from the field side, the wide side, and Indiana rolled away from it. You know that they went and did their homework on that play, and I don't know if they need larger type on those wristbands or what, but they're having trouble reading those wristbands.
There's a look at LaVecchio's numbers. Roby, by the way, 3 receptions now for 59 yards, inching in on the all-time record here at Indiana. And stuffed in the line of scrimmage, backing it out is Green Ellis, and almost broke it. Got down to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, that was a nice play by Green Ellis that time. McClintock on the tackle, but he bounced off and made a successful first down play. And that's about half the time you need to be picking up 4 or more yards on that situation. And if you update what Indiana has done, they've had 16 first downs and only 6, just a little over a third of the time. And that's why they've yet to get a third down conversion in this game. They're not doing well enough on first down.
2nd and 6, they will fake the inside handoff and didn't fake out the defensive player there. Lamar Woodley, the sophomore linebacker, was standing right there in the face of LaVecchio for a loss of 5. If you just joined our coverage, we were 14-7 at halftime. Michigan, as you look at this play a moment ago.
Yeah, same play going the other way, and I think from upstairs that time they go, the defensive end chased that ball carrier. Let's do it and keep it this time, because it didn't look to me like Matt LaVecchio was reading it. It looked like it was a called play, and it didn't work.
Yeah, Woodley, by the way, was a defensive end when they played Southern Cal in the Rose Bowl a year ago. Has now been moved back to linebacker. And the flanker screen diagnosed very quickly. Maybe about a half a yard at most gain. Well, how are the Hurricanes of Miami doing? Let's check in back in New York with John Saunders.
Question with the Canes every week is going to be their quarterback, Brock Berlin. He's having a pretty good day today. 44 yards this time to Roscoe Parrish. Second time they have hooked up. Parrish with a lot of space. 27-3 now, Miami over Georgia Tech.
The Hurricanes up big there in Atlanta over the Yellow Jackets. Got a good one going on here. Michigan only up 14-7 at half. Scored early here in the second half by virtue of a 97-yard kickoff return and a great effort on the goal line. A high floating kick. Leon Hall calls for the fair catch and will take it at his own 10-yard line. Well, next week, ABC's College Football Showdown Saturday features 5 of the top 10 teams in the nation. First at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, it's the Red River Shootout. Number 5, Texas takes on number 2, Oklahoma. And at 3:30 Eastern, either Cal, USC, or Wisconsin, Ohio State, plus other regional action. Check local listings for the game in your area.
Well, let's see what Michigan wants to do here. They know they can go to Braylon Edwards anytime they want to. They know they got a quarterback that's hot throwing the football. He's been sacked once. But they've run the ball 21 times for 24 yards. You got to know that's just eating away at Lloyd Carr.
Got to look at Henne's numbers there thus far, and he will hand it off in the backfield, and a great effort. Well, I tell you what, this Indiana defense of Joe Collins, they have come out to play in the second half.
They really have, and they've only really been run on really effectively by teams that use a running quarterback, and Michigan does not do that. They have been able to actually manhandle the Michigan offensive line with those 7 guys up front, the down linemen and the 3 linebackers.
Got to look at Kyle Killian's numbers in the first half. He's the Big Ten's leading tackler and leading them today here, leading the Hoosiers in the first half with 5 tackles and a fumble recovery. 2nd and 10, deep in their own territory, almost picked off, tipped twice. And Hernandez-Jones almost got his hands on it for Indiana.
See, that was an off-balance throw by Chad Henne that time. He wanted to throw the ball a little earlier to Braylon Edwards, and Braylon wasn't ready to receive it. Then he got off balance and never really got his feet under that throw, and it sailed up high.
3rd and 10. Actually 3rd and 11 for Michigan on their own 10-yard line. Henne pretty good on 3rd downs. This time he'll hand it off inside, and the freshman cuts it back, has the first down up across the 25, and shoved out of bounds at the 28-yard line.
Well, that's got to be demoralizing for the Indiana defense. Pick up a first down running a draw play. Michigan was willing to punt the ball there because Michael Hart does a lot of things well, just a freshman. But, you know, this is a guy that's got great hops. We've been talking about that. He gets in the line and can go from one angle to the next very quickly. Doesn't mean anything. He's small. That makes him a small target, but his legs, this is what makes this guy go. He's got pistons for legs. They just keep churning.
There's a look at the numbers on the true freshman. As Edwards in motion, this time Henne will look upfield and dump it off to Hart. And he steps out of a tackle and almost got away, dives forward across the 30-yard line. Well, we asked Coach Lloyd Carr to tell us your impressions of the true freshman, Michael Hart.
Michael Hart is a very durable, powerful guy. And we think he can carry the football a lot better than most freshmen because he is built so well.
And he also told us on the phone, Gare, that as he develops in this program, he will get even quicker and quicker as he's more comfortable with the game.
Yeah, as you learn where you're going, you get faster. That's just a process of time.
And to give to Hart, he cuts it back, and there were 3 Hoosiers standing there waiting on him after he gains a couple. Kyle Killian among those there to make the tackle.
I'll tell you, that front 7 for Indiana is a Big Ten defense. I mean, they might have some problems back there. David Boss, number 75, right in the middle. He gets thrown off. You got that. Inside, Russ Richardson took 2 guys with his attack, and that's what blew up the play. Boss could never get wide.
Richardson, a very, very strong player up front as you look at the Outland Trophy and Lombardi candidate. Boss there at center. 3rd and 7 for the Wolverines. Back to pass. Henne. Here comes some pressure. He gets it off wide open upfield as Edwards, 30, 25. Will they catch him from behind? No. Touchdown, Michigan. $69 yards on a 3rd and long.
The same pass route that Jermaine Gonzalez ran, man-to-man coverage. It's a stutter to the outside. Indiana's blitzing, and this is a perfect throw from Chad Henne. You got him that wide open, throw it high, right on stride. Edwards makes the catch and sprints it into the end zone for a touchdown. What a play by Henne and Edwards.
3rd and 7, and Henne uncorks one to Edwards. The longest touchdown pass of the year for that combination. The extra point is good by Rivas, and so the Wolverines pull ahead at 14 here early in the second half. It is 28-7. Back in Bloomington here at Memorial Stadium, along with Gary Danielson and Jack Root, I'm Jerry Punch. Michigan, 2 quick scores here in the 3rd quarter to go up 28-7 over the Hoosiers of Indiana.
Well, the young freshman got schooled on that one. Indiana blitzed them all out on 3rd down. Remember, they played zone on the draw play. Michigan picked it up on the previous 3rd down. This time they come after Chad Henne. A stutter pass, and it's perfected by the Michigan duo.
Kickoff taken by the 4-yard line, up across the 15, 20, has some room up there. That's Bennett. Still on his feet, and Bennett down the sideline and will get pushed out of bounds inside the Michigan 40-yard line. Now, a moment ago, we saw Edwards' touchdown catch. We asked Braylon Edwards, tell us about the mechanics of catching a long ball in your own words.
Off the line of scrimmage, I'm just trying to run as fast as I can and break the guy's cushion and work him inside so he doesn't know I'm going deep. As the ball comes down, you have to make a judgment. Are you going to jump for the ball, or are you just going to let your hands go to work and just catch it in stride? You look at the ball all the way in and you make the play.
Boy, he sure did that, didn't he?
Wow, he did that. 30th touchdown catch in his career, third all-time at Michigan behind Anthony Carter and Desmond Howard. Pretty good company to be in for that man right there, Braylon Edwards. And halfback pass attempted by Roby, can't get it off following the 56-yard kickoff return by Bennett. And they will lose about 6.5, 7 yards. Lawrence Reed there to stop Roby.
You're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't against this Michigan defense. If you play it safe, they're skilled athletes in the secondary, eventually going to make a play. If you try trickery, they got so much speed up front, you have trouble outrunning them. I think the best way to do it is to run right at them and throw timing routes, and Indiana's just not built that well to do that.
Loss of 7. We'll see if they find Roby this time back near the original line of scrimmage. Well, ABC's Desperate Housewives is being called TV's best new series and a great new guilty pleasure. Catch the series premiere of Desperate Housewives tomorrow, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, only on ABC.
Well, third down again for the Hoosiers, and they ain't been so good in this third down.
Yeah, how about some desperate Hoosiers?
That's exactly right.
Third and long again, trying to go deeper into Michigan territory. Vecchio has a receiver, almost overthrows Green Ellis, and he fumbles the football, and Michigan will get it at the Indiana 38.
You know, that thing just never got off well that time. The ball was lobbed a little bit too much. Jarvis Green Ellis catches it with one hand right here, kind of lackadaisically, okay? Then as he gets tackled by McClintock, I think it is, and then comes from behind. I don't know who got him from behind that time to make the play, just crushes the ball out, and I don't know if it was recovered before it went out of bounds or not. That's the question as we go.
Yeah.
I think it was Lamar Woodley that caused the fumble. Woodley, 56, hits it and causes it, but it looked like Michigan never got the ball until it went out of bounds. It's a good call.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be Indiana's ball here on 4th down, and they will punt it away.
And, you know, ever since the fake by Indiana, Michigan has been keeping their linebackers and regular players and kind of forcing Indiana to punt the ball.
You're right. Jarvis Green Ellis never had a chance on that catch.
Right.
Had to leap in the air and had Wolverines all around him. Here is Beatty, who will try to pin Michigan deep in their own territory. It's one of his specialties, and might have gotten a little too much leg in this one, as the flag does come down, and that one sails into the end zone. Had some movement early, and we'll see what Jim Lapatina's crew will tell us happened. Indeed had the motion against Indiana.
Yeah, Michigan will decline that. They'll take the ball in the 20. There's no reason to take that penalty.
(14-7) at halftime here. Michigan has come out and scored quickly 2 times here in the third quarter, one by virtue of a 97-yard kickoff return, putting them at 1st and goal on the 3. And then that great effort a moment ago, the pass to Edwards.
We have 2 fouls on the kicking team. We have illegal formation. They only had 6 men on the line of scrimmage at the snap. Illegal substitution on the kicking team. Number 5 came back into the game, and then he went back out. Both penalties are going to be declined. First down.
Let's check in with Jack.
Well, there's no question that David Boss has certainly shown his prowess as a center, but did you know he could sing? I'll tell you what, they talk about the fact that he has vocal cords. He sang at his sister's wedding. We're going to show you his biggest singing moment right after this.
I can't wait to see it. I've heard he is a lot of fun to be around, and a very talented young man. That they had a lot of fun last year when they went out to Pasadena and played in the Rose Bowl. Hand off to Hart, and he will get about 4.5. And what Jack was talking about?
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells.
Jerry, that was on the Tonight Show, and I don't think that it was like, really classified as a platinum album.
That one won't be selling soon anywhere, I don't think. But they had a lot of fun out there in the Rose Bowl last year. And that pass is completed to Avant, Jason Avant, the junior out of Chicago.
Really admire Jason Avant. Remember last year in the Ohio State game, he got that injury and carted off. Let his teammates know, go out and win that football game. Very tough, very consistent receiver. This is a slant, 3-step drop, let it go, perfect timing. You can almost see Chad Henne. I predicted last week, Jerry, that Chad Henne would be the most improved player in the Big Ten by the end of the year, and that Michigan and Ohio State would see a much better player than they are in the early year. It's starting to come very quickly.
Really starting to develop. Gets that one swatted away, but that's because the defender had pushed the offensive lineman almost back in Chad's face. He shoved Jake Long. That's Victor Adianju.
Yeah, he's matched up with Jake Long all day, and Jake's going to be a great football player, but he had a mouthful of Matt Roth last week at Iowa, and Adianju's kind of shown him that Big Ten football, no matter how good you are, takes a little time to learn how to play it.
Taking a look at the freshman from Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, Chad Henne. If you didn't hear earlier, he is only the third true freshman quarterback to play and run the Michigan offense here for the Wolverines. Rick Leach, the most notable one, that played most of the year back in 1975.
Another first down pass, by the way, for Michigan. I know Michael Hart's got 73 yards, but a total 40 yards running the ball for Michigan again. They have been brutal, and you'll wonder in those big games against Minnesota next week.
Operator, 340, please. 340. 340.
Oh, they're going to add 2 seconds. Chad Henne throwing the ball effectively deep and short today, but look how effective he's been throwing the deep ball. That is amazing. Touchdown on both sides of the field.
Remember, Michigan only averaged 85 yards rushing in the first 2 games, as another completion goes to Edwards. Then they uncorked the running game against San Diego State. And then last week only ran the ball for 93 yards against a very good rush defense at Iowa. Well, time permitting, join us for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. John, Craig, and Aaron will have all the highlights and analysis from today's matchups around the country. That is against, of course, time permitting. Third and a couple, make it 3 for Michigan. The Hoosier defense in front has played awfully well, almost steps off sides. Pass complete, and the flag comes in.
Yeah, you might get a push-off by Tyler Ecker that time, number 89. Something's going to be called. He got pretty clean on that play, and I wonder if they're going to call Tyler Ecker on an offensive push-off on the play.
Yeah, the field judge back there, as soon as he made the turn, Al Terry threw the flag, and we'll see what Jim Lapatina and his staff will talk it over and tell us.
Could be holding on Indiana. Could be holding on Indiana also. There it is.
We are in Bloomington, Indiana, along with Gary Danielson and Jack Arute. I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us here in the third quarter of this Big Ten showdown between Indiana and Michigan.
Jerry, I'm known as Professor Gary. I don't know if you knew that. They forgot to put that on.
Since I'm the doctor, we got to have Prince Jack Arute.
Yeah, Prince Jack.
Okay. That man's team right there, Jerry DiNardo, they've played awfully well here. They've given up 2 big plays early in the second half, and that's why the margin is what it is. 28-7. It was 14-7 at halftime, and a couple of big ones hurt them here with 14 points. Once again, Henne to Hart, and a lot of pursuit up there, and Hart just dances around people. As we check in once again back in New York with John Saunders.
along with Aaron Taylor, who's picked this week's Pontiac game-changing performance.
Virginia Tech's Vincent Fuller had a huge day. The special teams blocking a field goal. Vincent returns this one 74 yards for the touchdown. Also a game-saving interception of the quarterback Rasheed Marshall sealing the win.
So West Virginia picks up their first loss. They were the only unbeaten left in the Big East.
Well, Aaron and John, last week Virginia Tech's special teams let them down. They missed 2 field goals, and it cost them the victory against NC State. Today they picked back up on it. Long pass to Edwards, touchdown, Michigan. Boy, they make it look easy.
Well, when you have a receiver that can adjust for the football, that wasn't really a well-thrown ball that time. But when you got Braylon Edwards, he's so calm with the ball in the air, just like Iowa last week. That ball was thrown off target by 15 yards, and Braylon Edwards just calmly went over, made the catch, and poor Tracy Porter is saying, you know, I played high school basketball, and I came to Indiana, and they put me at corner, and it started out okay, but this Braylon Edwards is a whole different guy.
Garrett Rivas for the extra point, and the kick is up, and it is good. So Michigan landed the total.
Here it is, one-on-one, out of the corner, looking inside. Braylon closes the gap. Now he finds the ball. Now watch, right here, he's covered. Okay, that's good technique. But Braylon will use his size to get around to the inside and adjust to the ball and catch it in his hands.
Wow.
That is such nice job by a receiver. You can take a ball underthrown or overthrown, and he almost can get it.
Take a look at him in the Michigan record books. First in receptions, had 187 coming in. Second in receiving yards, and third in receiving touchdowns. And for more on Braylon, let's check in once again with Jack.
Well, Braylon Edwards, you'll notice there, has forsaken his traditional afro haircut. Said, as my senior year, what I wanted to do is become more of a leader. First thing he did was cut his hair. Second thing he did, he hit the books. He had a 4.0 GPA last semester. Braylon Edwards said, mentoring younger players is part of my job as a leader. He's that now for the Wolverines.
No doubt about it, getting it done on and off the playing field, Jack. Great story. Well, Indiana trying to get on track here offensively in the second half.
Maybe Indiana could just play half games from now on. You know, they come out, play a double hitter. Play the first half, go in, shower and everything, come out and play another half, another game.
You know, they've scored 43 points in the second half all year thus far.
Well, it's, you know, I mean, it's just, I don't know if teams, I think Michigan was kind of in a funk, but they're not in a funk now.
35-7, Michigan over Indiana here with 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. It was 14-7 at halftime, and Michigan has come out with 2 or 3 quick scores on long balls, 2 passes to Edwards, and a kickoff return and run by Hart to add 21 here in the third quarter.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised now if Indiana doesn't take a look at Blake Powers, their backup quarterback, freshman. He's going to see some playing time eventually. You might as well throw him in there against Michigan. You might as well throw him in the deep end and see what it's like playing against the best.
2nd and 4 for the Hoosiers. Here comes some pressure. They'll hand it off inside to Green Ellis. Has some running room up near midfield. Will have the first down. And it's finally stopped by Ryan Mundy, the free safety.
Now, one of the things we talked about in this football game early was that Michigan wanted to get through this football game and kind of just really not sell it real hard. Play good football, depend on the passing game, you know, kind of get through it, but play a lot of people. So far in this game, not counting special teams, they've played 21 players on defense and 20 different players on offense. So they will be fresh and ready to go against Minnesota.
Exactly what Jim Herman wanted to do, the coordinator here for Michigan. Get some people in the ball game. That pass overthrown, intended for Courtney Roby. Now, you talked about Lloyd Carr being able to bring a team in here after an emotional win over Iowa, a payback win, if you will, after the defeat a year ago, and the fact that he wanted to win this game, but no coach would ever admit that you're going to have to win one when you're really not up for it.
No, and I don't think he's going to be happy with a few things. He got away. His skilled player, number one, no one can cover. No one in the Big Ten or college football can cover number one for Michigan. But I'll tell you what, he's not going to be happy about the way they ran the ball against Indiana today.
Yeah, another Couple of yards for Indiana. Well, we asked Lloyd Carr, when Michigan is playing at its best, what do we really see?
We're mixing the run and the pass. We're playing great run defense, and we're doing a great job in the kicking game.
Pretty much sums up what's happening today.
I guess so. They've given up 65 yards running the ball to Indiana. They've had a punt return and a kickoff return. I mean, that's exactly on cue. And you know what else they might say is use your star athletes, and that's what he's done with big Braylon Edwards.
No doubt about it. Now you know why he's won 4 Big Ten titles and a national championship at Michigan. That one overthrown well. And it is, no, they say he did not have possession of the football. It bounced off the turf.
It was pretty close, I thought.
David Lewis started to argue his point, thought better of it.
I think you're right. I think he was throwing the ball. He got rushed on this play inside. It was Manning, put some pressure on him. He was throwing the ball short. It was tipped.
Yeah.
No, it hit the ground. It hit the ground. Very clear right
Good
there.
call. Good call by our Big Ten staff, Jim Lapatina and company.
4th down, Indiana's going to go for it. I think they should. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make it here. You'll see Clayton Richards back in the game for Michigan the rest of this game.
Joaquin Gilmore, top of your screen. He's the speedster. They just beat the play clock and passes to Gilmore across the 40, 35, fights his way inside the 30, still on his feet, and gets shoved out of bounds. Great effort by the junior from Brooklyn, and now tempers are flaring here on the sidelines.
See, I don't blame the Michigan guy on that play. You got a receiver struggling that won't go down. Everybody's fighting for an extra yard. What are you supposed to do? Stop. I thought Michigan did a good job going in there and hitting them. I think it was Grant Mason that came in late.
Gain of 18 by Gilmore, and the Hoosier drive will stay alive.
Yeah, Hoosier State Police over there making an extra. End of that play. Gilmore's struggling. Now look, he's not down. He's fighting, spinning around. He doesn't go down there again. He's not quite out of bounds, and Mason is trying to steal the ball. Gabe Watson comes around. That's no problem. That's football.
Yeah, he was actually still in bounds.
He was trying to steal the ball. Was great, man.
And Mason was trying to pop it out. Well, ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC station.
You're watching college football on ABC Sports Championship Television.
Back in Indiana, we are in Bloomington indeed for the Hoosiers and the Wolverines. Big Ten action. And Michigan pulling away here in the 3rd quarter with 21 points. Indiana trying to put some points on the board. And what an effort for Henne and Edwards, Gary Danielson. I mean, my heavens, both have career highs in this game, and we're still in the just starting the 4th quarter.
Well, I made a prediction that Chad Henne would be the most improved player in the Big Ten. I still think Michigan has to get their running game going a little bit better, Jerry, but I think Michigan has served notice that those big 3 receivers, Avant, Edwards, and Breaston, when he gets healthy, are going to be a force the rest of this Big Ten season.
Edwards had 150 yards against Iowa last week and has gone over that 165 yards receiving today with 8 receptions. 2nd and 5 for the Hoosiers, and that pass sails behind the intended receiver. Take a look at the Big Ten today as the flag comes in, by the way, on that play. And Iowa takes the win over Michigan State. And how about Purdue and Notre Dame? 41-16. Kyle Orton stepping up a little bit with some of that voting for the Heisman. Yeah, Wisconsin.
What a year he's off to.
Wow.
And Joe Tiller's got that Purdue team. And remember, Purdue plays Michigan and Ohio State at home this year.
On a defense, number 91. Half the distance to the goal in the previous spot. Automatic.
Yeah,
First
Ronald
down.
Biggs that time, number 91, is the guy who got the roughing the passer penalty. And, you know, just one play, and I'm usually not a one-play guy, but the one-play kickoff return meant so much in this game. The second-off kickoff return by Michigan, and I just think changed Indiana's whole mindset in the second half.
They opened the second half with that 97-yard return by Grant Mason down to the 3-yard line. IU almost held them. As that handoff is to Chris Taylor, and he is stopped after the gain of a couple. Next week, showdown Saturday. How about Texas OU? I mean, Oklahoma's won 4 in a row.
Well, we've done all of those, I think. And Oklahoma, and I'm sure Mac Brown is happy not to see me coming into that shootout. It's been all Oklahoma when I do that game.
Got some great ones coming up. 5 of the top 10 on ABC next Saturday. Saturday afternoon for Showdown Saturday plus regional coverage. Again.
So it's the shootout in Dallas, and we're going to be doing the truck plow in Columbus, Ohio, the tractor pull.
Yeah, here's a look at the offensive leaders for Indiana. Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, Courtney Roby, and Matt LaVecchio.
Indiana has yet to pick up a third down conversion in this football game. If you think on third down right here that the Michigan nickel package isn't tough, just ask Indiana. 0 for 9 in the game, like on third down.
3rd and 11. LaVecchio changing the play. Sees some pressure possibly coming from Michigan. Back in the shotgun. Here comes some pressure from the outside. He has the pass complete across the middle, down near the 5, and he'll still be shy of the first down. That's Travis Haney on the reception.
I'll tell you, the Indiana players play with very well coached, play with a lot of determination. They just don't match up. They don't match up in the defensive secondary. That's a big mismatch. And I think the game breakers for the receivers on Indiana, they make plays, but they don't make huge plays like Michigan's do.
Well, Gary, in fairness to Jerry DiNardo, this is the first time he's had a full complement of scholarship players, 85. Last year, they only had 69 on scholarship, and 2 years ago when he got here, they played some games with 38 scholarship players in Division I in the Big Ten. And
what a play. That's caught. Wasn't that caught?
Pass was caught. Well, they're saying out of bounds.
Oh, I thought his foot came down, or at least there must have been interference or something. I thought he got this one.
There's
a
Roby.
well-thrown ball to Roby that time. Grant Mason in coverage. Ball's thrown to the outside. Looks like a one-handed catch to me. Does he have it? His foot comes down. Does he juggle it? Oh, that's a touchdown, guys. I think you got to review that one. He clearly caught the ball with one hand there.
Yeah, he had both feet down.
I thought he did. One more look at it. That was a great look we had right there. Another fade pass. The ball is perfectly thrown. Now, catches it.
Was he juggling it all? No, he had possession.
I thought he had it all the way. See, this is going to be reviewed. I'm telling you, this is going to be reviewed. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a touchdown.
See, the catch, you could take the catch over interference on that play. And this is what you need. I mean, this is why they have this system here. And Jerry says he likes it. I like it. You just got to get the kinks out, and that's going to happen. Another look at it, another angle. Mason clearly interferes on the play. He wasn't looking back, catches the ball. We could tell from the first angle that he wasn't juggling it. Got actually both feet in, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if the side judge is blocked. He's behind Roby. I don't know if he can see if he actually had possession. He just saw the interference and threw the penalty.
Yeah, that's when they clearly both feet in. Now let's check to see if he actually caught the ball and didn't juggle it. And clearly he brings it in. The ball is not moving at all. A one-handed catch. That's a wonderful play right there.
Wow.
That's a touchdown.
Yeah, that's 6 points, Indiana. And Gene Carabine has spoken now from upstairs to Jim Lapatina after the review. And we'll hear what Jim has to say.
After the play was being reviewed, there's indisputable video evidence to show that the receiver did possess the ball, come down inbounds, 1 foot. It is a touchdown.
I like this. I like the replay system here in the Big Ten.
I think it has a lot of merit. I mean, it actually does. I mean, think about this. If this is a tight football game, you got to have that. Everybody at home sees it. Why shouldn't the officials get to see it, right?
I tell you, you got to give a call to the Big Ten. I mean, they once again take a leadership position in this kind of program and show people how effective it can be.
Now remember, though, the Big Ten has a little advantage. Every one of their games are televised. You know, I mean, they've got cameras at every game.
How can you not have championship games? You know, have this available?
Absolutely.
Ryan Robertson for the extra point is up and good. Now Indiana down 35-14 here in the fourth. And back in Memorial Stadium here in Bloomington, Indiana. Take a look at, for the entire month of September, there were 7 stoppages and 3 overturned calls. Today
that's the whole Big Ten.
That's the whole Big Ten for the whole month.
Right.
Today here in Bloomington, 1 game, 1 day, we've had 3 stoppages and all 3 have been overturned.
One, I got to get some clarification.
But effective use of the instant replay. There's Grant Mason taking it inside his own 20-yard line. As we head back to New York and check in on Purdue Notre Dame with John Saunders.
And also checking in on the singular All-America Player of the Week. Could it be Kyle Orton? 97 yards to Taylor Stubblefield here. He had 385 yards passing on the day. To vote, text message the word player to 64444 or go on to ESPN.com, keyword singular. And by the way, Kyle Orton has won the last 2 weeks.
All right, new quarterback in for the Wolverines of Michigan. And also the freshman Max Martin in at tailback. As Richard hands it off to Martin, his first carry, the young man, a highly recruited young man out of Madison, Alabama.
Well, everybody was wondering if Michigan would pull that red shirt off Max Martin. We've heard for a couple weeks that he was going to play. And now you look back, David Underwood, okay, he's perfectly healthy. He was the starter at the beginning of this year. He's ready to go, but, you know, you get hurt at Michigan. There's other guys on scholarship, pretty good players, and David has kind of lost his spot here.
They have an embarrassment of riches at the tailback position here at Michigan. If there is such a thing in college football. Once again, the freshman will get it. As we check in on the sidelines with Jack Arute.
Guys, let me give you a quick scouting report on Clayton Richard as he gets under center. Coaches liken him to a former Michigan standout quarterback by the name of Brian Griese. They say he's real accurate, has an exceptional touch to his passes. And Gary, unlike you, they say he can thread the needle in the crowd.
Well, some guy threaded the needle today, don't you think?
How about Chad Henne? Take a look at those numbers. Career high, 17 of 21 the yardage, and 3 spectacular touchdown tosses. And we told you he also had a career day. I believe there will be more career days for this young man before the year is out. Braylon Edwards, 165 yards after he had 150 against Iowa last week. 20.6 yards per reception.
I was kind of talking to Lloyd Carr on Monday and saying, don't you kind of have to give it to Braylon Edwards? I mean, don't you have to throw the ball to him deep about 3 times a game? He keeps making plays. And Lloyd said, yes, we do. He makes plays.
Simple answer to that question.
Exactly.
35-14. Just over 11 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. And
try to work on that quarterback sneak play. Michigan is going to try to get that thing rolling.
Well, at the conclusion of today's game, we will select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. That's coming up later, the Chevrolet players of the game.
How do you suppose Jack's feeling down there drinking all that Tabasco sauce?
Now, he tells us that was actually Tabasco.
It was. I'm bringing the empty bottle back, and you can try it.
Okay, well, I'll let Gary try.
I just don't want to sit next to you in the airplane.
By the way, I'll be referred to as King.
You know, Jack is.
Well, for those of you who did not see Jack do what he did in the first half,
you don't want it.
You don't want it. Well, they got might have a little bit of a push in the back on the block.
Yeah, I think it might have been that time. Nice safe play. Good job by Michigan getting Clayton Richard some throws. You never know when you're going to lose a quarterback, and Michigan has to have 2 quarterbacks ready, and I think this is a good strategy by them getting them ready.
And it'll all come back because of the penalty. But we were talking about what happened in the first half as we listen here. And once
Legal
again,
block in the back on the offense. Number 1, 10-yard penalty. In spite of the foul.
Jack was telling us about the fact that there's a love for Cajun food and spicy things, and just not really enjoying being a part of.
Look at that. Look at this.
There you go. There you go. Now that was completely full.
He claims honestly that he actually drank it and it's real.
Here we go.
Give it to somebody else, Jack, to verify that that's real. Jack, stop that, please. That's tomato juice. Somebody verify that. Look at his eyes. I'll tell you, that might be
I don't
real.
feel real well right now.
Oh, and he's flying cross country tonight to a little IndyCar racing tomorrow. And a handoff here, gain of a couple of yards.
Well, we talked about what Michigan had to do, and I said number 1, use the mismatch. Number 1, 8 receptions, 165 yards. Get Michael Hart pumping, 20 for 79. He had also reception for 36 yards. And substitute freely. You can see they accomplished all 3 in this football game. And that's why this has got to be a runaway here, 35-14.
There's a look at Lloyd Carr, and got to be pleased with the performance of his team today. And they got a tough road to hoe here coming up in the next few weeks. 2nd and 17. And again, they hand it off to the freshman, Max Martin. As you take a look at Michigan's schedule coming up, and Minnesota comes to town, and I tell you what, that is a very good football team.
Yeah, Minnesota's going to play them physical, but you know what I like about Michigan's schedule is it's spaced out nicely. They got Indiana before Minnesota, Illinois before Purdue, and Northwestern before Ohio State. It gives the Michigan team an opportunity to kind of rest some of their players and then come into their big games rolling on all cylinders.
And they head to Columbus to the Horseshoe to finish out the year over arch rival Ohio State. And that one sails close to the receiver, but
well, Jason Avant at that time got slow coming out of his break. Clayton Richards was ready forever for Jason Avant to come across the middle. It was man-on-man coverage, and Avant never came out of it. You can see Avant's trying to say, what's going on here? Why is the ball thrown to me? Should I come off later? And that's what happens sometimes. The mistiming of the throw makes the quarterback look bad.
And Kyle Killian also was getting ready to have a helmet full of Clayton Richard if he didn't let go of the football when he did. First punt today by Adam Finley for Michigan. And a low line drive spiral back to Lance Bennett. He'll take it and drops the football. Ball's back on it at his own 17. Back with more from Memorial Stadium in just a moment. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Allstate, a proud sponsor of the Bowl Championship Series. By the new Chevrolets, 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American revolution. By Singular Wireless. And by AOL for Broadband, proud sponsor of First and 10. Part of the beautiful campus here, the entryway, the main gate here at Indiana University. What a gorgeous campus, and we are in Bloomington, about 50 miles south of Indianapolis. And a brand new quarterback, Blake Powers, from Brandenburg, Kentucky.
Somebody moved. A little pointing out right there about who moved.
Prior to the snap, All-Star offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And for more on Powers, let's check in with Jack.
Well, here's the rundown on Powers, a redshirt freshman. Just 5 career passes going into this game. They say he's untested, but Jerry DiNardo and his staff say that he is the future for IU. They say he's big, strong, and I quote Steve Adazio, the offensive coordinator, this kid can sling it.
Jackie's dad was a tight end here at IU from in the mid-70s. Young man was a 4-year starter on his high school basketball team and twice All-State in basketball. Chose Indiana over Kentucky, Tennessee, and Wake Forest. And Green Ellis still battling, and losing ground. Finally brought down about the 5-yard line.
There were 8 Michigan defensive players within the hash that time pursuing that defender. The Michigan defense plays all out on everybody. This might be one of the best Michigan. This is going to rival the '97 Michigan defense. Speed at every position, more strength up front with Gabe Watson and depth on linebacker and in the secondary. This is a vintage Michigan defense.
They made some adjustments defensively after the struggles at Notre Dame.
Well, Notre Dame kind of caught them off guard with the fast back there. And, but you're going to move the ball against any defense. This pursuing defense, though, just comes every play.
Second and long, and that one's in and out of the receiver's hands. Now, we asked head coach Jerry DiNardo, when will his master plan for the future of Indiana football really take effect?
We're going to have a breakthrough at IU football. I just don't have a date attached to it. There's no possible way I can. It wasn't the Oregon game. It's not the Michigan game. It's not next week's game against Northwestern. I don't know when the breakthrough is going to occur, and there's no date attached to it. We're just going to keep pounding away until it happens.
Jerry DiNardo has gotten it done. He's turned programs around at Vanderbilt. Was SEC Coach of the Year, did it, won 3 consecutive bowls at LSU. I'll do the same thing here at Indiana. 3rd and 22 for the Hoosiers. Backup quarterback in his own end zone. Fires it upfield to Green Ellis, and he will still be shy of the first down. We are at Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana. Big Ten matchup, defending Big Ten champion Michigan Wolverines against Indiana. Along with Gary Danielson and Jack Arute, I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. And Indiana hung awfully close here for a half. It was 14-7 at halftime, but 21 points in the third quarter, 3 long plays, 2 pass plays to Edwards, and a 97-yard kickoff return, setting up a short run by Michael Hart. Almost too much for the Hoosiers to handle.
Yeah, it's been all big plays. Remember the punt return by Leon Hall in the first half also.
There's Leon Hall, speaking of which, and he will.
Oh, man.
He opts not to call the fair catch, and he is nailed.
John Panozzo, the fullback. This guy, and we had Steve Adiazo say us, this guy's a real football player. We saw it again. NFL, look for this guy. Special teams tear.
Panozzo nails Hall.
Right in the nose.
There's a look at John Panozzo, who just delivered a lick on that punt return to Leon Hall. I want you to hear that. I mean, it almost makes you cringe when you hear those pads hit. First down for Michigan. And another hit in the backfield. Now, just a moment ago, Panozzo moving in on Leon Hall on the punt return. Now, listen in.
I got a note that's been sent up here to the box. It's, dear Steve, Preston, hurry back. Leon Hall.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's got to be the lick of the week right there. 2nd and 11 after the loss of 1. Got a freshman running back and a backup quarterback who lofts one downfield just beyond the receiver. Well, time permitting, join us for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report with John, Craig, and Aaron. All the highlights and analysis of today's matchups around the country.
Well, you reside down there in Nashville. You like the Volunteers tonight against Auburn?
Yeah, in Knoxville. I'll tell you what, the Neyland Stadium will be rocking. Now, Tennessee struggled last week against Louisiana Tech against a backup quarterback, give up almost 290 yards passing. It'll be interesting if Tennessee's defense can hold up, and Philip Fulmer made a change in the starting quarterback down there.
Ainge is going to go, huh?
Going to go with the prototypical drop-back passer, Eric Ainge, as opposed to Schaefer, Brent Schaefer, who started the first 3 games.
Well, nothing happening. Indiana defense still flying around. That's one thing Joe Cullen and Jerry DiNardo has told his team. Let's finish this football game. We're not likely to win it, but let's finish it. Make sure that we all kind of go out as soldiers here. When we watch the films on Sunday, let's be proud of our effort when we're behind. Lance Bennett, they had that long punt return last week, along with his kickoff return. He doesn't fair catch either, so we might get another one of these hits here.
Yeah, Bennett's a pretty special player. Has a lot of talents away from the football field. We mentioned a 98-yard kickoff return against Oregon, a 94-yard punt return by Bennett against Michigan State here last week as Finley gets his second punt of the day off. This time Bennett will be forced to fair catch it at the 11-yard line. That's where Indiana will take over with less than 6.5 minutes to play. Back in Bloomington here with just less than 6.5 minutes to play in this one. Blake Powers, the backup quarterback, freshman out of Brandenburg, Kentucky, in charge of the Hoosier offense. And he will tuck it and run. Young man, a very good athlete. Played a lot of basketball in high school. Just take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. And what a day for Braylon Edwards.
Yeah, it really has been. He's been doing it in all different areas. Blocking, 2 big blocks, spring a touchdown. He's had 2 big touchdown catches, a stutter there, and then a great adjustment. Braylon Edwards has just been a mismatch. That's what he's been in the football game. And every team in the Big Ten, when they stop Michigan, will have to stop him first, and that'll make everybody else better. Wow, and they've got, I think if you're Minnesota and you're sitting home watching this one, or you watch these highlights, you think about how many you can put on him. He's going to tilt the field. He absolutely is, and it's going to open up everything else for Michigan. 8 receptions for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns as Powers goes down in the hands of Sean Crable, the backup linebacker, sophomore. He's really coming on, Sean Crable. I mean, he's got some tough competition in front of him. Roy Manning and Lamar Woodley. Pierre Woods is a good football player, too. Crable might be their number 4 linebacker, and he's 6'5", 225, and he's a good football player. He's a good-looking kid. He's all airport. You want him to get off the plane first. Well, yeah, he's 6'5". You're right. He's one of those guys that recruits you. You walk in and say, let's sign this guy. In the nickel package, he lines up at defensive end. That's how good of a rusher he is. Once again, back to pass, plenty of time, and throws it behind the intended receiver. Boy, that might be a record, isn't it? At 0 for 12 today, Indiana, today on 3rd down. Have not picked one up in the whole football game on 3rd down. That means Michigan's stats for the whole year will be impossible for anybody to beat. Gary, would like to pass along our thanks to the University of Michigan Assistant Media Relations Director Dave Abloh for all his help, and likewise here at Indiana, the Director and Assistant Director of Media Relations, Pete Rhoda and Jeff Kidd, for all their assistance this week and getting us ready for this Big Ten matchup. Guys, thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Punt from the goal line. It's a good one. Fair catch. Yeah. All right, that's Mason back there who makes that fair catch. He went to Stanford first. He's a very smart guy. He knew that. He saw the last one. He said, I'm going to fair catch this one. All right, we are today's Chevrolet players of the game. And there they are, Chad Henne, the quarterback, record-setting day for Henne, 17 of 21, 316 yards. And Kyle Killian has been all over this field, came in leading the Big Ten in tackles. Look at that, Chad Henne. I mean, this is what's amazing. Throwing the ball downfield, 6 for 6 for 3 touchdowns. And that, I'm telling you, all across the Big Ten, defensive coaches will take notice, and they'll have to play their safeties deeper, and that Michigan running game will eventually come around. As the toss is back, and the freshman, Martin, will get a couple of yards. We mentioned that those Chevrolet players of the game, in recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet makes a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. There's a look at Chad Henne out of Wyomissing, Pennsylvania. Well, now, you know, you're filling in for Brent here, Jerry. You know, and in the great tradition of Brent, he'd be just pushing that Heisman on Chad Henne right now. You know? True freshman, but, you know, a great game like this. If they get by Minnesota, maybe. Final 4 minutes of this one here. Killian again. Look at Killian. Well, just give him another car. Give him another 1,000. Oh, wow. I tell you. You know, this guy came here and played as a true freshman, injured a knee like 2nd or 3rd game of the year, and they were going to do a red shirt for Killian, and they needed him back with 3 games to play, and he came back and played in the knee brace. Absolutely. Can't run underneath that play last time. Bell, number 63, could not get reach to him, and the middle linebacker kind of comes from underside and make the play. Has been the leading tackler here for IU the past 2 years. Had 10 solo tackles in the finale last year against Purdue. And that one complete down near the first down marker by Adrian Arrington, the freshman out of Cedar Rapids. Yeah, another true freshman that Lloyd has decided to pull the red shirt off of. Carl Tabb, one of the counted on receivers for Michigan, kind of had a bum leg all year, and you see Jermaine Gonzalez played. Preston's hurt right now, and Adrian Arrington is getting his chance to play, and they have said really, really great things about his future here.
Made his debut as a wide receiver against Miami. Didn't have a reception this year until today. Pierre Rimbert now in at tailback. And he will get the football. Left side, cuts it back and gets about 3.5 yards. And Gary, we're talking about what's happening next week on ABC Showdown Saturday. You've already mentioned it. Going to be a good one down in Dallas. How about the Buckeyes and the Badgers?
Well, we'll be there, and it's that is a tough defensive football team. Wisconsin will not take one step back. Ohio State knows how to win that type of football game, and it's one of those things where, like Nugent, he win it again, the kicker for Ohio State. I love watching Ohio State play football. They got a game tonight against Northwestern. We'll throw the ball around a lot against them, but I think Vazquez is hurt for Northwestern, so Ohio State should be okay.
Without Nugent, the Buckeyes could be 1-2 right now.
Right. Well, they could have lost a lot of games the last few years. Nice job by Clayton Richards that time. Started out on the left side of the field, didn't like it, turned and came back the other way to Jermaine Gonzalez. And, we started off the game talking about Jermaine Gonzalez. What a great story. He was a highly sought-after quarterback coming out of Orchard St. Mary's in Michigan. Ooh, that's a big-time play by Killian. And a nice delivery by Clayton Richards, because he saw Killian coming right at him all the way and delivered that ball.
And now, as you see, look at Killian's numbers. David Underwood in the game at tailback. That's the 5th tailback that Michigan has used today. And he will get the carry, cuts it back, and guess who's there once again?
Well,
Mr. Killian.
Well, it's kind of interesting watching David Underwood play. Remember Matt Gutierrez? It was supposed to be Matt Gutierrez at quarterback, David Underwood at tailback, and neither one of them, bumps and bruises, and obviously the bad arm by Matt kind of forced Lloyd's hand to go young, but it looks like they've kind of caught their experience in the Big Ten, and it looks like they'll be fine. Chad Henne's good. He's going to have an unbelievable career at Michigan, and Michael Hart's finding his way real quickly.
Got so many talented tailbacks here, and you got some upperclassmen, and you got Hart, the true freshman, and Killian got to be running out of gas, but he still runs Underwood down from behind and makes the tackle.
Yeah, see, that's what maybe the knock might be on the Michigan tailbacks this year is the middle linebacker on a sweep runs down your tailback, and it's happened all game with Michael Hart, and now with Underwood. You can see those guys have just been able to run everything down.
Well, it was 14-7 at halftime, Michigan over Indiana, but a big third quarter by the Wolverines, 21 points on 2 long pass plays to Edwards and a long kickoff return, and that was pretty much it for the Wolverines, putting it away for Indiana, who came back with a score here in the 4th quarter. And now the backup's in. Here's Underwood trying to get down near the goal line. He'll be stopped at about the 12.
Jerry, good job, my man.
Gary, good to be here.
It's
always a pleasure to sub for Brent.
All right, down to the pits one more time for Jack or not?
I think we'll just call it a day. It's a guys, it's a pleasure to be with you. Brent will be back next week, and you guys head to Columbus. And that man right there, Lloyd Carr, well, he goes to 4-1 on the season, gets his 90th career victory as a head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. And how about Braylon Edwards going to go up and find the family that have come in and give everybody a big hug? What an impressive performance, a record day by the senior from Detroit, Michigan, Braylon Edwards, 8 receptions, 165 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Kyle Killian got nothing to hang his head about. He played as well as you could play as a middle linebacker. There's 2 of the best receivers in the Big Ten, Cortland Roby. And Edwards, I mean, boy, how impressive is he?
Well, there's nobody better in the country this year. They may equal him, but there's nobody better.
What a great one we had here, at least for a half, in Bloomington, Indiana. Once again, our final score here from Memorial Stadium is Michigan 35, Indiana 14. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Search ABC Sports. Stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report after this from our ABC station. So long, everyone, from Bloomington, Indiana.